The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
They gave me my theme music!
This is a Planet Fanatics production.
Oh, the party people say, oh, what is up, everybody? Appreciate y'all being here. To be honest with you, I'm going to be real honest. I'm in a good mood. I've been eager to sit down in this chair today because there's been some things going on within the nerdy news world that we've definitely got to talk about. Clear some air on some shit. Definitely some shit we're going to get into. Some fun theorizing shit we're going to get into. Tonight's stream is kind of laid back with some news. Going to have fun. Hope you have fun with me. Enjoy the ride. Appreciate all you guys being here. Check out that poll if you haven't checked out the poll. That is one of the main topics tonight. So it is one of the things that we are definitely going to get into. I've already given my thoughts on it quite a bit since we've talked about it, but I feel like I got to reiterate that. So we'll get into that a little bit. We'll get into what's going on with the Scarlet Witch within the MCU a little bit. We're going to also get into what Daniel RPK recently said about Jonathan Majors and Kang the Conqueror and moving toward RDJ and things like that. And we're also going to get into what Exile Scooper tweeted out, I believe it was yesterday, about the rumored villain for BP3 that is supposed to be coming, 26, 27 is what I believe he said, but we'll get into all of that and more. As I said, I appreciate all of you guys being here. Brother Stark, appreciate you being here. As always, Andre, Bobby, appreciate you guys being here. So definitely about to go in on this one today. So we'll let a few other people kind of stroll in here. I encourage everybody to go check this out. I think this is something we might try to do regularly. Well, not regularly. I don't want to say regularly to get, but every now and then. And even what I was thinking, I was going to talk to Blue about it and talk to Ty about it and see what they thought. But we did a talking space today Ty did a talking space today, and then I joined. Blue was already there, and a couple of others were already there. Andre was there this morning. Naries was there this morning, and there were a couple of others there that checked in and then checked out this morning. But we just talked about different Marvel stuff, different stuff going on within the Marvel world, different stuff going on within the nerdy news world. We talked about DC, talked about a lot of different things. So I was thinking about sometimes if we do this quite often, or not on a regular thing, but if we do this, I was thinking about taking those conversations and then, since you can't see us, putting something over there, to where you put the audio up and it's a YouTube video, because it was a good conversation. I enjoyed the conversation I had with Blue today, and then the conversation I had with Ty, the conversation I had with everyone else in there. It was pretty fun. So check that out if you haven't had the time to do so. Let's see. So let's get into it then. Let's get into what is going on in the Marvel news world. Hold on, before we get into it. Blinkers up. If you do the do, you be on your blinkers. Whether that be the paper, whether that be that good tree, or whether that just be that them pins or whatever you do. Before today's stream, everybody, take a big hit of your shit. Take a big hit of your shit. We got a lot to get into. Yeah, we don't discriminate over here. And we definitely be on our Mary over here. All right? So we gonna get into it. Let's see what's going on. Let's start with, obviously, something that we've kind of all been discussing for the coming weeks, the last few weeks we've all been discussing it, and that has been the casting around who would be portraying John Stewart in the Lantern series. As we talked about the last time, they originally wanted Josh Brolin to come in and portray the role of Hal Jordan. Josh Brolin turned that role down. He discussed it on a podcast even and said how maybe there's something else in DC possibly for him. They even went for Matthew McConaughey and a few others. I think Ewan McGregor's name was in there, tossed around in there as well. They finally landed on Kyle Chandler, which I don't mind Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan. I think that I think he'll do a fine job. When it comes to series, Kyle Jordan, Friday Night Lights, his longest, I believe that was his longest series that he's done, and some people call him one of the series kings when it comes to Friday Night Lights and the performance he gave there and things like that. But so I don't mind him as Hal Jordan. It came down to who was it? It was Aaron Pierre. That's name was tossed around. Damson Idris's name was tossed around in there, and then is it James Stevenson? I believe what's his name? Stephen James. His name was passed around in there as well. When Damson Idris's name got passed around, I was like, I like that. I like it, but I don't want it to be Damson just because Damson, as I've said before, is on my list of recast T'Challa. I would like him to portray that role. He's not first on my list, but he is on my top 3 to portray the role of T'Challa if they ever do decide to recast that role within the MCU. So I really wasn't mad when his name got crossed off the list over at DC due to scheduling issues, is what they said. And I wonder if those scheduling issues have to do with Marvel, but again, we don't know. That's been the speculation that his name has been tossed around over there at Marvel Studios for King T'Challa, son of T'Chaka. So then it came down to Aaron Pierre, and it came down to is it James Stevens? I don't want to say his name incorrectly. Stephen James. Thank you. Came down to Stephen James and Aaron Pierre. So one of the things that I have said, and I want to say this again. I want to make sure that I say this very clearly before we get into the article and things here. There are going to be things that you guys agree with that I say when you come to the channel. There are going to be things I could be a stream away from someone unsubscribing to me because of something I've said. Or, you might think that, oh, Darius, I agree with you all the time. But then there's going to be that one time that I say something that you don't agree with. And that's fine. If you don't agree with what I have to say, that is okay. But I'm going to say this when it comes to the conversation of Aaron Pierre and things right now. As I've said many times, even when it comes to the stuff going on within the MCU, when it comes to Marvel, and things that I've said about the MCU, when it comes to recasting T'Challa, that is one thing. I don't have to pay attention to the BP franchise. As I've said, I'm not going to. And when it comes to giving energy into the BP franchise as far as my money and paying attention to, like Eyes of Wakanda, I will not be tuning into. I won't know what's going on with Eyes of Wakanda outside of whatever is tweeted about Eyes of Wakanda. So I won't be paying attention to Eyes of Wakanda in that way. When it comes to Wakanda Forever, as I said during the promotion for Wakanda Forever and the reactions and all the talk we did up till Wakanda Forever, for me, I have to see it for myself, and I needed to see it for myself, and I did. Since then, I have only seen that film one time, and I walked out when Queen Ramonda passed away, so I hadn't seen anything else. So when it comes to the BP franchise, I won't give it energy, but there are some out there that are of the mind frame, well, I'm not going to give Disney my money, I'm not giving Marvel my money, and that is okay. That's your prerogative. You can do that. As I've said before, me personally, I'm invested. I've been here since 2008, and I've been a Marvel fan even longer than that. So I want to see some of these stories outside of King T'Challa that I've been invested in since '08 played out within the MCU. And if that is not something that you're interested in, again, that is your prerogative. But what we're not going to do is try to make me feel some type of way or say that you thought different of me because I've said something that you now don't align with. No. If you want to be miserable, be miserable. That's you. Be miserable. Misery loves company. I'm not going to be that company for you. If you want to be miserable and you want to tune out everything, then tune it all out. Me personally, I have the things that I'm going to tune out, but I have the things that I am also invested in. And there are other things outside, as I've said before, for everybody that thinks that Marvel is my go-to. When it comes to the Disney umbrella as a whole, Marvel might be under that umbrella, but Star Wars is also under that umbrella. Disney movies are also under that umbrella. Pixar is also under that umbrella. There are other things outside of Marvel under the Disney umbrella that I am paying attention to that I like. So I'm not going to then again boycott Disney because of what is going on with King T'Challa. Again, I can boycott what Marvel does with the BP franchise. I can be one of the voices out here for recast T'Challa and voice my opinion, but I'm not boycotting the MCU. That's me. So then when it comes to now we're talking what's going on with Aaron Pierre. As I've said many times before, I did not want, and I even said this in the most recent stream, I did not want Aaron Pierre to be Jon Stewart because of the colorism, because he is a light-skinned brother, because in when he first debuted in comics, what was it, 1971, 19 something like that? I believe something, I could be completely wrong on the debuting of Jon Stewart in comics, but we pulled that up, and even in the picture, he's a dark brother, and every iteration in the comics you pull up, Jon's going to be dark. In cartoons, Jon's going to be dark. So I have expressed my want for Jon Stewart to be a dark-skinned brother, but I've also said, I also don't want to take anything away from Aaron Pierre. I'm not going to take anything away from another brother. If he gets it, he gets it. But I would prefer he did not. But again, as I've said before, and even if you go listen to what we said today in the talking space with Blue and Ty, before it was officially announced by the trades, My Time to Shine Hello had dropped it. They had brought it up in the chat we were in, and I said, you know what? If Shine is saying that that Aaron has got it, this again before the trades put it out, I said if Shine is saying that Aaron got it, I'm gonna believe it. And the reason I believe Aaron is getting it is because of what I have said many times defending why Jon should be dark-skinned, and that is simply because colorism. The closer to white, the better. The closer to white, the more comfortable the audience is going to be, the more acceptable it is. As I've said many times discussing this, when the voice actress of Storm, she discussed that. She said in the 90s, there's a reason Storm was light-skinned, because it was a better complexion. It was easier on the eyes. They don't want a dark-skinned woman like that, but they got what they wanted somewhat in X-Men 97, the reboot. So even in that, I've even used this example in The Harder They Fall. Shotgun Mary is not no skinny, petite, light-skinned woman. The only reason they went that route is because the closer to white, the prettier. If we can get a petite, skinny, light-skinned girl in here, that's easier on the eyes. People want to see that. They didn't go with the accuracy of Shotgun Mary, who is a heavy-set, black-eyed, cockeyed woman. So why people have the audacity, I'll say, to try to come at me when I have been one of the champions out here defending why Jon should be dark, why I believe that, the colorism and everything else. So if I ever say something that you don't agree with, that is fine. You can always come to me and we can have that conversation. But don't come at me and try to make it seem like I'm on the other side, or I'm not fighting the same fight as you. Don't do that one. Don't do that one, because I get on this platform every time I'm on this platform and I defend and stand on business of what I got to say. If I don't say it, if I don't mean it, I'm not going to say it. So I just wanted to make sure we got that point out there before we got into the article. Now, with everything that's been going on today, obviously, Aaron Pierre has gotten the role of Jon Stewart. I'm not shocked by this. I was never going to be shocked by this if this was the case. A lot of people, and we're going to get into some of the comments that people have been saying on Twitter too, because I think that is important. To say it's unfortunate, because I've seen some people saying it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate that Jon once again in Hollywood, we have taken a dark-skinned character and we've tried to make him, light-skinned, or lighter. Again, the lighter, the better. But I don't want to say it's unfortunate to Aaron, because again, this is another brother that I do, he, regardless of him being light skinned or not, he is still black, and I still want to show him, I still want to be supportive to Aaron. This was not Aaron holding a gun to James Gunn's head. He just went out for a role. So this is on the people behind the scenes. This is on the writers. This is on even the president, James Gunn. It's on him too, for them deciding, hey, let's go with a lighter-skinned Jon Stewart. This is not, so I don't want to say it's unfortunate to that degree, because, again, I do want to support Aaron and being happy for him and getting this job. But I would, in my opinion, would have preferred for Jon Stewart to be this color here. But anyway, the Hollywood Reporter goes on to say that Aaron Pierre, the star of the Netflix Rebel Ridge, has nabbed the plum part of Green Lantern's Jon Stewart in DC Studios and HBO's much Bollywood series Lantern. And then hooded series Lantern. Then it says the casting capes one of the more scrutinized actor searches in some time, not only in the show, but the first major TV endeavor from DC Studios. Heads James Gunn and Peter Safran, but the role of Stewart carries much significance as fan favorite comic book character, was one of DC's first black superheroes. The intense casting process came down to Pierre and Stephen James, who was on the festival circuit with drama The Piano Lesson and who starred in the 2016 Jesse Owens biopic Race. Both participated in screen tests, with the actors squaring off against the already cast Kyle Chandler. On Thursday and Friday, each actor had their boosters, but the final decision was made Tuesday. Pierre definitely brings heat to the show, as the actor has over the course of the few months gone to the top of the casting list. His leading turn in Jermaine, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's from Rebel Ridge. Is that who he plays? I don't know how to pronounce the last name because I still haven't watched it. Don't sue me yet. I haven't watched it yet. Rebel Ridge debuted on Netflix September 6th and was the #1 title worldwide on Netflix for 3 weeks in a row. The actor already has had a brush with the comic book realm. He once was casted opposite Mahershala Ali in Marvel Studios' Blade, but the version of the long-delayed movie morphed, and he will not be involved going forward. He also appeared in M. Night Shyamalan's old and adaptation of the graphic novel. I'm not reading all of this because I want to read what the people are saying. But it says Lanterns is said to have a gritty True Detective vibe, and following Hal Jordan, a legend amongst the space police force known as the Green Lanterns. As he reluctantly mentors Stewart, a young Green Lantern, the two intergalactic cops get drawn into a dark Earth-based mystery, and they investigate a murder in the American heartland. So we already kind of knew what the series was kind of going to be about and things like that, but Aaron Pierre obviously has gotten the job. Now, this is what people online have had to say. There have been really not a lot of good ones out there. There have been people saying that, okay, yeah, we do support Aaron, but this is yet again another colorism issue. And this is what it says here from a few different people. Saved a few of them. Okay, let's start here. Well, obviously, this is what Aaron said too. We'll say what he said. He said, tremendously honored and abundantly grateful. A dream come true. Thank you all for the love and beautiful energy. Thank you for welcoming me to the DC. Let's work. Someone said, sigh, colorism wins again. And most won't care because everyone likes him and finds him attractive. Jon Stewart is legit my favorite superhero, so this casting is a bummer. Not due to his acting, and that's how I feel too. Not due to his acting, but I doubt that they're even going to address the elephant in the room, and more than likely not. So you guys can see it too. Let's see what the others are saying. We have another person that said, when they said, some of these are funny. When they said brightest day, they meant it. There's one that says colorism is a real problem. There are too many light-skinned folks cast in places of dark-skinned actors. However, Jon Stewart is not canonically is not canonically darker than Aaron. The character has been frequently depicted as almost exactly his skin tone, and outrage in this case is unwarranted. Now, again, there are some people that are on the side of it saying, I don't understand why. And to say that this is the same color as Aaron, then you're a fool. And to say that this is the same color as Aaron, then you are a fool too, because I watched this on HBO Max, and that right there, he's dark skinned in that show. So I don't know why he pulled that picture. I'm not sure why the fuck he pulled this picture either, because John's skin color here is only brightened by the beam of his fucking ring. So why you pulled that picture, I'm also not sure. Why this picture was pulled, if you think that that's the same color as Aaron, I'm also not sure. So where he's coming from with the pictures, I don't know. This is someone else that said, come on now, even outside the comics, and this is what I was talking about. In every iteration, John is dark-skinned. He's a dark-skinned brother in every iteration. And then they've got this one here. Someone said, and I'll actually play what the creator had to say, so I won't read that one. Someone said Aaron Pierre being cast as Jon Stewart is Halle Berry being cast as Storm all over again. Dark-skinned actors are severely underrepresented, and it's honestly sad because Jon Stewart has been darker in the comics. Colorism is still a thing, and I'm over it. Someone else said DC fans. Oh yeah, you got to hear the video, so we won't do that one. This is Jason. Jason said Jon Stewart is darker skinned than Aaron Pierre. Using the scene grab from the set of Rebel Ridge does not erase reality. Nice try. It's colorism in casting. Y'all love to ignore colorism and anti-blackness when convenient. Right, and he was replying to what this dude was saying about, and using these pictures. I'm not sure where they came from. Someone said, somebody help us. The aliens are invading. They said, Hal Jordan and Brightest Day is Blackest Night. And they got John with the light-skinned face. Then they got somebody here. Not somebody. This is Liam, one of our longtime viewers. Liam said, "Very disappointing that the dark-skinned actor was not chosen. That a dark-skinned actor was not chosen to play Jon Stewart, who is a darker-skinned character. I know y'all see these two pictures right underneath each other. The skin tone don't even match. Like what the fuck? Second black hero introduced in DC, and now light-washed." And yeah, we're looking at the same pictures there. Someone said, I simply cannot imagine what type of terrible casting will befall black female characters next. And that's it. That's a question. Then she goes on to say, because if you can do that to Jon Stewart, you clearly don't care about nothing or about anyone else. This is Cornelius, said, congratulations to Aaron Pierre, though the lens of this to him, black person, Aaron Pierre to him and Aaron Pierre are similar skin tones, especially in the winter. And Jon Stewart has never been depicted anywhere close to as mocha golden beige as us. Stewart has always been Stephen James pigmentation. And that same thing, that's what I said. Like, he's close. My dad's a little lighter than Aaron, but he's close to my dad's color. And I guess really this would be lighting here too, because I've seen other pictures where he's lighter, but yeah, he's close to my dad's color, and my dad is light skinned. Jordan Jones said, to me, Stephen James traditionally looked more like Jon Stewart. Honestly, not excited about Aaron Pierre. Pierre securing this role, but let's see how this goes. Someone said, why are people calling this Twitter casting? That just feels extremely disrespectful to the actor. Imagine he puts on a really, really good audition, but then the casting director says, sorry, bro, Twitter's fan casted you, so you ain't getting the role. I'm sorry, but it's just stupid. Yeah, well, that honestly was dumb too. That wasn't a good point. Then someone else, stop moving. Let's see. Someone said high yellow Green Lantern. Someone said my only sadness is Neil Adams isn't here to see the Green Lantern he created. Here's the story of how he fought every exec to create DC's first black superhero in 1972, and cussed them again when they tried to give him a slave name. So let's listen.
I said, okay, Julie, you ever watch the Olympics? She says, I watch the Olympics. I said, well, how often do you see three white guys up there? I mean, in general, maybe in archery, swimming maybe, but, in general, you see Asian guys, you see black guys, you see Puerto Ricans, Japanese, you see, but you rarely see three white guys. I'm just saying, I've been watching the Olympics, I don't see it. He says, you want a black Green Lantern, don't you? Yeah. He said, what if we do an Asian Green Lantern? I said, well, you don't have a very good record with the Asians. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, you have a guy in the books who's been in there for 10 years and is an Asian kid that hangs around with Hal Jordan, and you call him Pie Face. Well, we didn't mean it as an insult. I'm sorry. I don't know how you can interpret pie face as anything but an insult, Julie. That's
that pretty much goes
disgusting.
one way, yeah.
Pretty much. He says, okay, you can have a black Green Lantern. I said, no. I'm not going to have a black Green Lantern. I'm going to have a college-educated, professional man. I'm not going to have a gangbanger who suddenly gets a superpower and he decides to be a superhero. College education and a professional. Okay.
And that was controversial.
Huh. Have you seen any of the black characters at DC or Marvel? Unless they're tribal chiefs. They're gangbangers. They're punks. They're
drug
street
dealers.
punks. That's right. Mm-hmm. So I said, that's the way it's going to be, or else I'm not going to do it. He said, okay, that's fine. So anyway, Denny O'Neil writes the story. And sure enough, he is a college-educated. He's an architect. Later on, they say that he's an ex-Marine, and I think that's okay. Mm-hmm. But that's not as important. Julie came up with the name.
Oh, wow.
So I go to Julie's office, and I close the door, and I lock it. Because there's going to be some yelling. I go,
I can't imagine.
Julie. Lincoln, Washington. This is why I know lots of guys with names like that. Yes, Julie, and they're changing their names right now as we speak. That's a slave name. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? I mean, you couldn't come up with a worse name if you tried. It doesn't exist in the universe. He says, you pick a name. I said, just put names in a jar and pick a name out. Any name. It's nobody, not that, but pick a name. He said, you do it. I said, fine, John Stewart. And it didn't cost them anything, and they had goodwill.
And I love everything he says in that because it's so real. Like, that's some of the things we talk about constantly when talking about the why we scream recast T'Challa. The importance of what some of these first, like T'Challa obviously was the first, but then John was the first over at DC. So it is important. The accuracy is important. The them being on screen is important. The representation is important. You know, it may not be as important to some people. I saw somebody say black is black. Well, it may not be as important to you, but it is important to everyone, you know, or not. It is important to some of us. So I loved what he had to say there, and I thought that was really important. And then this one here, where it's a conversation between him and Hal says, John, you were stupid and impressionable. John says, so I maybe missed my aim with the power beam, and the senator got a little blackened. Then he goes on to say, what's to worry about? I've been dark my whole life, and I'm surviving. So I was just like, yeah, bro, like why we went that route. Again, I know that he's now the top of the casting list and things like that because of what he did in Rebel Ridge and some of the other roles that he's done. I haven't really seen Aaron Pierre in anything because I haven't watched Rebel Ridge. But I know he's voicing Mufasa. He's already in over at Disney, so he was already going to get Disney's not DC. So anyway, he's got the role. I've stated my issues on it. I'm obviously not going to stone Aaron Pierre for it, but I wish him luck, and I hope that, and yes, as my tweet said, yes, I am increasingly excited for the DCU. Regardless of him being cast as a light-skinned man, I am still increasingly excited for the DCU. And why am I increasingly excited for the DCU? For shit like this. So far, they've done a great job. We've got our Kal-El. You've got your Blue Beetle. You've got Hawkgirl. You've got Mr. Terrific. You've got your Lanterns. You've got Supergirl. You've got, I don't think Kamal is playing Booster. And then you've got Morph. Like, you've got some, and it's some good casting right now. So, yeah, I am excited for it. And again, if you want to be miserable because of a casting choice and you're like, oh, boycott DC, I'm not, that's you. I'll be seated July whatever the fuck for Superman. So, but let me know what you guys are thinking. We'll check the comments and then we'll move on to the next topic here. Let's see. It's kind of going back up a little bit. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Uncle Ben, appreciate you being here. He said, I would have liked a more accurate comic John, but as long as Aaron portrays him with good military bearing, I'm good. Pozo said, we can't blame Aaron for taking the opportunity. Right. That's what I'm saying too. Like, I've seen people online saying like, oh, I'm not watching this because of Aaron, and I'm not with him in it. Like, I'm not because of Aaron, but people saying that they're like, it's negative toward Aaron. I'm like, okay, yes, I get the colorism. I'm on that side, but this is still another brother. It be your own people sometimes. And that's whole nother conversation. But Stamina said, it just makes for an easier, not talking to me, sorry. Brother Stark said, to all my dark-skinned brothers and sisters, any fight for us in the role is a stake in colorism, is a stake in the colorism agenda. We need more dark-skinned representation. Derpy Entertainment said it's unfortunate. Tony said, what's up? I appreciate you being here, Tony. Stamina said, it's unfortunate for the character, less so for the actor. Idealism versus realism. Right. Completely agree. Brother Stark said, Rebel Ridge is good. His role in Malcolm X is phenomenal, but British biracial and light-skinned actors are given more roles than dark-skinned actors, and it's unfortunate. Let's see. Andre said, I was more concerned about making sure they had a great actor. As long as the writing is amazing, then I'm ready to see Jon Stewart. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, they're not changing the casting. He's going to be Jon. So it's like you get behind the DCU and watch it, or you don't watch it. But again, I am not up in arms and about to boycott the DCU. Because a black brother still got the job. But it's again, I'm on the colorism side, but I'm not boycotting that shit. Paul said, the irony is that we've never had a light-skinned blacks in the comics, all the same shade dark. And that is very true. We were talking about that today in that talking space with everyone. That got brought up. It was like, well, are there any light-skinned? And the point that was being made was, are there any light-skinned characters in the comics? And, no. Q, my cousin, my co-host, has talked about that. How he feels underrepresented as a light-skinned, biracial kid. There aren't characters that are biracial and light-skinned. Yes, you've got Miles Morales, who is biracial, but you don't have like a white and black biracial superhero character that they can look at that looks like them or anything like that, blah, blah, blah. And as we were talking about it, and they were like, well, and the point was, well, how fair is it to light-skinned actors that want to play superhero roles? If there's no superheroes that look like them in comics, and when they get a dark-skinned role, then what are, and the point, that's a good point. It's a good point. And I get the colorism again. I get it. But we're not spending 2 hours on that topic, but I get it. Raymond said, I hope people don't send Aaron hate because it's not his fault. Right. Zen said Static Shock will look like Jaden Smith. Oh, God. That's what you boycott. Brother Stark said, as a black man, I'm glad we got a good actor in the role, but as a dark-skinned American man, I would have preferred another dark-skinned, non-biracial man to get the chance to bud his career. Right. Brother Stark also said Static Shock going to be played by Blanket Jackson or Saint West. Xavier said, oh, trust and believe they will stay on that BS with the black female roles as well, probably. And, that worries me for Vixen. That really worries me for Vixen. Paul Martin said, there are more dark actors getting bug roles now. How many buttons can Halle Berry, Michael Ealy, and Paula Patton put in the seats? How many butts? Sorry, I said buttons. Yeah. D Stizzle said, I'm cool with Aaron, and I would have been cool with Steven as a Green Lantern comic fan. I'm only annoyed how and maybe Carol Ferris is eligible for that senior citizen discount. I've seen some people really upset about a 6-year-old Hal Jordan. I've seen that. Stamina said, that's exactly my point. That we can't know to assert that a light-skinned actor got a role for that reason despite everything else is, to me, a bit dishonest. Unlike comics, we need a 3D portrayal. Xavier said, I wish Aaron good luck despite the obvious issues with Hollywood. Uncle Ben came back in, well, not talking to me, talking to D Stizzle. Let's see. Gray said, congrats to Aaron, but I wanted Stephen James for the role of Jon Stewart. I hope Stephen James gets a higher profile and more opportunities for lead roles. like this down the road. I saw some people trying to tagging James Gunn with pictures of him and saying, well, James, give him Icon. Not Icon. Not Icon. I don't want him to be Icon. I don't think he would fit Icon. Not for me. And I don't even think they're going to do Icon, to be honest with you. They might. I don't know. I don't know. But I maybe. Bobby said, yeah, casting G kind of been on point. Let's see. Lawrence Report said, even the toys will be light-skinned Jon Stewart. Right. And all my figures, because I think I have 3 different figs, and I can't show because all my shit's packed up, but I have 3 different figs of Jon, and they are all dark. All dark. It's because everyone you get is going to be dark. Jon is a dark-skinned man. So, yeah, bruh. Yeah. Let's see. Namikaze said, I'm not rocking with this new DC universe so far because these castings have been so weird. Like, why are Hal and Guy so old? That's one thing I've said, Guy being old, Hal being old. I'm not sure why the Lanterns are so old outside of Jon, but then he goes on to say, I feel like Hal has been getting the shit end of the stick in DC. Paul said, Idris is a franchise lead. That's Luther. Soto said, what about Aqualad is biracial? Oh, Aqualad is biracial, is he not? Yeah, but I mean, well, what is that white? And what is he biracial with? Who's his parents? I'd have to look at that. That is true, though. That is true. Aqualad is biracial, is he not? Uncle Ben said, let's see who they pick for the Black Superman film. I believe Gunn said that project is still on. And we'll see on that too. Let's see. The Lawrence Report said Vixen. Oh yeah, they're gonna cast a biracial. No, I'm kidding. And then Giant NY said, "What's good topics tonight? What's up? Good topics tonight. Appreciate you being here." And then BT was talking to me. He said, "I like the Jon Stewart pick. I don't care that this British Chadwick wasn't. I don't care that he is British. Chadwick wasn't African." But he did a great job in the Black Panther. That is true too. Cornelia said Aaron Pierre isn't biracial. Oh, I didn't say he was biracial. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, like I said, a lot of people feel the way they feel about it, and definitely you have the right to feel that way. And I mean, like I said, I'm there with you, fighting the same fight. Let's move to the next topic. Next topic, we're going to move to, let's see. Back to the bookmarks here. Is things going on with, I believe, Wanda? Let's get on Wanda. Yeah, let's talk about the Scarlet Witch. So, obviously, we're watching Agatha right now, and another episode has already come out tonight. If you've watched it, I have not seen it yet. I'll see it when I'm done with this stream. But Agatha is a spinoff of WandaVision. The Vision Quest is going to be a spinoff of WandaVision. Wonder Man is also going to be a spinoff of WandaVision. All these spinoff of WandaVisions, and there are still people that believe, and truly, truly, truly believe, that Wanda is dead in the MCU. Why you would believe that? Because I'm telling you, there are people on the internet that will get into I haven't gotten into these arguments. I've read them though. Full-fledged arguments with you trying to definitively prove to you that Wanda is dead in the MCU. And if I join these arguments, I guess you could say I'm joining now. Why the fuck would Marvel take one of their most successful characters at this point, one of the characters that can actually get asses in the seats, one of the actresses that can get asses in the seats, because I love Lizzie Olsen as the Scarlet Witch, as Wanda. They're not going to sideline Wanda. And to believe that Wanda is dead with all these spinoffs they're pinned to Wanda it's crazy, really. It's actually insane. So, I think it was My Time to Shine Hello tweeted out that Wanda will have a lot of screen time with Doom. Actually, let me go down to that so we can just have that on the screen there. There it is. She says that... Okay, my fault. Twitter on the computer is a little different. All right, she says that Wanda will have a lot of screen time with Doom in both Avengers movies and may appear as his lover. Now, you guys know WandaVision was my favorite Marvel show that they've done. It still is my favorite Marvel show that they've done. Agatha at one point in time was on my most anticipated list because I do like the spooky side of things. I like witchcraft, voodoo. I'm into all that shit. I've said many, many times the best season of American Horror Story was Coven. Coven, by hands down, was just amazing. So like any type of witchcraft shit like that, I love. As the leaks and things started coming out for Agatha, my excitement for Agatha waned. It started getting, I was not excited for it at all. As I've watched Agatha, I'm enjoying it, I'm having fun, no expectations or anything like that. Now, the connections to Wanda, the connections to Billy, the connections to potentially Speed, and then all that kind of stuff, I do like because, again, I've always said, if you go back and watch anything we've done talking about Wanda, Children's Crusade, the Boys, the Young Avengers, or anything like that, Young Avengers as a concept, doing other things outside of Children's Crusade, to me, who cares? Me personally, I don't care. Children's Crusade was amazing with the Young Avengers just because of what it did with the X-Men, what it did with Wanda, how it brought in Doctor Doom, how it, was the effects from House of M and all the stuff that we were watching. I love Children's Crusade. I think it's great. And I've said many, many, many times, if they were ever going to do anything with a Scarlet Witch film, and we've just heard from leaks and rumors too throughout the years, that it would be something attached to a Children's Crusade project. They would adapt, the MCU would adapt some type of version of their version of Children's Crusade. And that is currently what we are getting to with Wonder Man. That's because Wonder Man plays a role in Children's Crusade as well. With Wonder Man, with the Vision Quest series, with Agatha on its own thing, but getting Billy to where Billy needs to be Wiccan, and then everything like that. It's all going to culminate to the Scarlet Witch film that is rumored. What they say is rumored between 2020. I think it's rumored before Secret Wars. And if that's true, that Children's Crusade deal and everything it be going in, it makes sense. I've used this before when talking about that. If you know the comic Children's Crusade, Wanda disappears after the events of House of M and things like that, and we later see her come back up after Wiccan and Speed and the Young Avengers, and they're looking for their mother and things like that, blah, 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 blah. Come to find out, she's been in Latveria. She's, somewhat lost memory a little bit, and she's married to Doctor Doom, TLDR. And how all that ends with the X-Men and Kang and blah, blah, blah. Now, they're probably obviously going to nix the Kang shit because not doing Kang. Nixing the Iron Lad shit because, obviously, so it's not going to happen. But everything else, they're going to try to fit together and have their own little elements and do their own little version of what will be the MCU's Children's Crusade. So this makes sense to me that we will possibly see Wanda show up as a lover of Doom. And even Kevin Feige said, what was it, in 2022, I believe, when he spoke with Variety, he had said that he isn't ready to make anything official, but it certainly doesn't sound like he's done with Wanda. He goes on to say, there really is so much more to explore. We still haven't touched on many of her core storylines within the comics. He also went on to say anything's possible in the multiverse. We'll have to see what happens. And then when they asked him, is Wanda dead? And this is after seeing Multiverse of Madness, he said, I don't know that she's dead. He said, I don't know that we saw her under rubble. I saw a tower coming down and a little flash of red light. I don't know what that means. And obviously, again, when he hinted that in 2022, I don't feel like he needed to say that because they're not going to sideline Wanda. So her being a potential lover of Doctor Doom coincides and lines up with the longtime Children's Crusade rumors that were going to be adapted into the Scarlet Witch film, and that's what the Scarlet Witch film was always going to be. So I'm personally, with that being one of my favorite deals surrounding Wanda and comics, I'm excited for that one, if that is something that actually does happen. Of course, the events of that are going to lead into Secret Wars. And so, yeah, I'm pretty excited for that one. But one of the other things that we'll get into here is just kind of like, this is the event. This is Children's Crusade, those events when she was married to Doctor Doom. So, pretty, if done correctly, if Marvel can do it correctly, this could be very, very good. This could be very, very good. Now, will we have all these key players? I don't know. Is Magneto going to be there? Are the X-Men going to be there? I don't know. Again, this is the MCU's version of of what would be Children's Crusade. And the Young Avengers by that time, I'm sure, will be assembled. So, yeah, this could be good. This could be very good. But what do you guys think? Are you guys, when it comes to Wanda, are you on that fence of thinking Wanda is dead? And if you are, and then what do you guys think of them adapting Children's Crusade as part of the Wanda film to go into the events of Secret Wars and things like that, to put Wanda back on the table? Now, the reason that this could be such a good thing is because Wanda right now is viewed as a villain amongst the normals and the casuals in the MCU, and maybe again even with some of you. I don't view her as a villain personally. I don't, and that is a whole debate. But I don't view Wanda as a villain. So this could be a redemption thing for Wanda as well. She did. Now, I feel like she's still going to have to deal with the events that she caused in 838 universe. There might be some parties upset with killing members of those teams. So she might still have to deal with the events of that. But when it comes to just the redemption arc, this could be leading her to that redemption arc, because if she comes to her senses in this film and obviously seeing her boys and protecting her boys, and obviously Victor is not up to any good, fighting against Victor, helping fight off Victor and foil some type of plan before getting into Secret Wars, or that leads into Secret Wars, and putting her back on the side of good with the Avengers could help. So we could see, I don't know, but I do know that this is one of my favorite comics, so I'm excited for it if they can adapt it and do it correctly. But you guys let me know what y'all think, and we'll read through some of that. Let's see. Brother Stark said, Marvel passing out WandaVision spinoffs like Oprah. Xavier said, why do people believe Wanda is done is wild. Yeah, no, it is. It's crazy that people really, I can't even get, what's the logic even behind Wanda being dead? It wouldn't even make sense. Brother Stark said, the old white lady from that 70s show about to get a spinoff, Mrs. Hart. Let's see. Stamina said, Wanda being dead in the MCU would be one of the stupidest decisions they've ever made, and they've made plenty already, as we know, right? SJ said, colorism is a problem, talking about Aaron, but Aaron got this role because his career is going nuclear. If John Boyega had stuck with Rebel Ridge and it had been a mega hit, that would be his role. Daniel RPK said the exact same thing about John Boyega if he would have stuck with the role in Rebel Ridge. Again, I haven't seen Rebel Ridge yet, but if he would have stuck with the role in Rebel Ridge, the role would have been his as Jon Stewart as well. Brother Stark said, she's going to be Doom's lover, so Doom and Reed won't have a rivalry. Doom's supposed to be Spider-Man's rival, and he's played by RDJ. Yep, that's all accurate so far. He said, nothing they're doing for Doom sounds good at all. Oh, and I can't wait till we get to that with the whole shit Daniel put out that I somewhat believe, but I have my receipts on some other shit too. D Stizzle said, I think Wanda should come back with her brother, sister, father, in the reboot. You're talking about Magneto and Quicksilver. I hope we do see her as a daughter of Magneto in live action at some point. Let's see. The Black Sand said, I'm more of the New Mutants fanboy. I like the New Mutants too. Brian Fisher said, live from Florida, still got power. Oh, be safe out there. Be safe out there, brother. Let's see. Brother Stark said, I hope Marvel don't try to adapt House of M. Was that not, I thought we all were kind of in agreement that maybe that's what they tried to do with, even though there were no mutants in it. That was what WandaVision somewhat was, in a very, very makeshift great value MCU way. D Stizzle said, the biggest thing I didn't like about Children's Crusade is that they retconned her Looney Tunes angle into it with Doctor Doom all along. Yeah, of course they had to make it as if Wanda's not the villain, So yeah. And that's the way I'm sure it's going to be twisted somewhat in their version of whatever's going on within the MCU, because they've got to start making Doom's present looming. So possibly. Brother Stark said they're sidelining T'Challa though. Neri said, "What's good, beautiful people? Appreciate you being here." Brian said, "Trust the Russos." Uncle Ben said, "Disney should bring Majors back. Magazine Dreams is getting released, so I hope it does well and it gets them thinking." Yeah, go support that too. Go support that. It's a boxing film, I believe. Neri said, "Agreed. You know the MCU. They finna have 5 characters into one." Yeah, definitely. They love to mix characters. Bobby said, "Yes, Wanda definitely still has a story to tell, for sure." Brother Stark said, Patriot won't be there, though. They sidelined Patriot to make a quippy, or to make a quippy as Young Avengers. To make him as quippy as the Young Avengers. Are we talking about the actor that plays him? What's his name? I follow him on Instagram. Is he not going to? Are we sure Patriot's not going to be there? Because is he not going to portray Patriot? Maybe he's getting in shape for himself. I don't know, but he's definitely in shape. And I thought maybe he was getting bigger for the role of Patriot, or maybe again he's just doing it for himself. I don't know. But he's not, of course, posted anything about Marvel on his Instagram, other than there's a lot of people that follow him, that strictly follow him because of his role in Marvel, and they constantly comment under anything he posts. It's, hey, Patriot, heard anything about Marvel, heard anything this, heard anything that. So he might not be. Marvel hasn't brought it back up. I'm kind of shocked that he wasn't at, maybe even a cameo or something in Brave New World, considering he does live with Isaiah. So I'm not sure. Maybe he is and they just didn't show it. I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's see. Stamina said, "Literally every morsel of news about Doom just kills my buzz that little bit more." Paul said, "Strange. Boyega was badass and attacked the block, but seems too small to be a superhero." I don't agree, or don't disagree with that. I don't know if I see Boyega as Jon Stewart, height-wise or build-wise, personally. Let's see. Brian said, "Should I watch Agatha? Is it worth it, and is it necessary?" I don't know that I would say it's necessary. I would say just for a fun thing to do on a Wednesday night, pop that shit on. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about Agatha. I'm enjoying Agatha right now. My biggest thing is I'm the connections to Wanda, what they're doing with Wiccan. That's all I really care about. Now, if there are some cool things going on with Agatha towards the end, if Mephisto does show up, I don't believe that, but if Mephisto does show up or things like that, then I guess it makes it that much more interesting. But again, I don't have any I'm not going in Wednesday to Wednesday with this better happen in Agatha. I'm not going in with theories. I don't have any. I truly don't. Now, there are some online that have the theories, but I'm not one of them. Outside of the Mephisto and Wanda shit, outside of where it's going with Wanda. Now, if you want to ask me some theories about Wanda, I have some there. You want to ask me some theories about possibly with Mephisto, I've had them since WandaVision. So yeah, we can, that stuff. But with Agatha, with the other witches, with the Salem 7. Now, what's the black witch's name? I forget her name. We could possibly see her pop up on the Midnight Suns. What is her name? In the comics. Her cousin in the comics is, or the Blazes, Johnny Blaze, both his brother Catch, and then her family is a very powerful witch family as well. So she could possibly end up on the Midnight Suns. She is an important character somewhat. Yes, Jennifer Kale. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, so there's the Kales. Yeah, so there's some interesting elements in Agatha that, the mystery of it is interesting. I'm ready to just have the reveal of the stop of every time she asks Billy something, it's, the spell that's over him. So yeah, again, nothing to write home really about, but if you want to watch it, definitely pop that shit on. Let's see. Bird, appreciate you being here. Elijah Richards, yes, Stamina. He said he had some legal issues for a while, then silent since then. Well, damn. Well, maybe those legal issues, I don't know. he's not that big of a high profile star. So I would assume maybe that's not the thing that Marvel would be like, okay, well, your legal issues, you're gone. It's not even a big star at all. But I don't know. We'll have to wait. I need to see if he's going to show up in Brave New World or something like that. Black Panther said, I am more of a Stephen James fan, which is why I wanted him to get it. Happy for Aaron, but I knew it was gonna possibly start World War III. Paul said, I will say Marvel should have had that jerk Hayward from WandaVision be the Red Skull instead of the floating guy. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, let's move to this. Let's move to this real quick. Where are we at here? Where? Oh, I don't think I favorited it. I think I just retweeted it because of what I said. There it is. No, that's not it. Was it yesterday? Shit. There it is. Okay. So, Daniel RPK tweeted out yesterday that the reason why they decided to drop Kang wasn't just because of Majors. When they were looking to recast the role, they realized there wasn't much hype around the character, so they went with the gimmick casting of RDJ as Doom to get people excited for the Avengers film. To be fair, I think it worked. The RDJ announcement is the most viewed video on Insta. Okay, let's just break this down here. Let's start with the part where he says the reason they decided to drop Kang wasn't just because of Majors. When they were looking to recast the role, they realized there wasn't much hype around the character. So let's just put a period there before we go on to the next part of that sentence. That's bullshit in itself. Now, I will tell you this. I completely agree with the hype around the character when it comes to people being like, oh, because you let him get beat by ants. And that is not the character of Kang's fault. That's not Majors' fault. That's Marvel Studios. That's Weirdo Jeff Loveness. That's Michael Waldron. That was Marvel Studios deciding, hey, we're doing the multiverse. And since the Rick and Morty writers are doing the multiverse constantly, let's pull them over here and have them work on some Marvel shit. That was Marvel's fault. That had nothing to do with the character of Kang. So if there wasn't any hype around Kang, it's because Marvel let the big bad one go up against fucking Ant-Man in an Ant-Man film. Ant-Man has never been that big in either one of his previous films to that. But then you decided to take little old Ant-Man, literally little old Ant-Man, Paul Rudd, and have Paul Rudd go against who was supposed to be your big bad, that was supposed to be even bigger and badder than Thanos. That's what you were building to. There's multiple of them. You said it in Loki. He's coming. He knows everything. He's terrifying. You built that entire scene up in Loki because of what you saw in Jonathan Majors when he auditioned for the role. Marvel didn't have a plan going forward before Jonathan Majors sat down and auditioned for that role. After Jonathan Majors gave the brilliant fucking performance that he gave as Kang the Conqueror, they said, wait, this is the way forward. Not only are we going to have him be the big bad in Loki and turn the name into He Who Remains, we're going to have him be the big bad moving forward, but he's going to play every iteration of Kang. That was Marvel's thinking then. If you go back and you look at any of the interviews, Kevin Feige talking about it, you go back and you look at some of the writers and the directors or the writers and producers for Quantumania talking about how Jonathan Majors was showing up to set, jogging around in the Kang mode way before people would get there, and how dedicated he was to the role. And we know that just from listening to Jonathan Majors and how heartbroken he has been and expressed about losing the role of playing Kang the Conqueror. So to sit here and say that there wasn't any hype around the character or anything like that, if you go to the day that they announced RDJ at SDCC, it was majorly split between the fandom. Majorly. And that's not even up for fucking debate. There were articles put out the next day talking about how, yeah, Marvel did this, but there were some people down, there were some people not. The trades were talking about that. So that's not even up for debate. It was majorly split. There were people that wanted it. There were people that were like, what the fuck? Why are you bringing back RDJ to play Doctor Doom. And it's still, I was one of those people that was saying, why the fuck is RDJ playing Doctor Doom? I remember when I saw the tweets of him being on stage, I said, what the fuck is RDJ doing at SDCC? And why the fuck is he surrounded by Dooms? So no, it to say that is crazy to me. The hype, again, could have died down and did die down because I said the same thing when I saw him get beat by fucking ants. I was like, well, our big bad just got beat by ants. So again, I didn't like the fact that he went against Ant-Man. I never liked any of that. But again, that's not the character of Kang. That is Marvel's fault. So the next part, he comes in and says, with a gimmick casting of RDJ as Doom to get people excited for the Avengers films. I've seen on Twitter from so many people, and I'm only going to speak for myself on that too, as well as adding to the opinions of some of the ones I've already seen. I didn't need RDJ to come back to be excited for an Avengers film. We haven't seen the Avengers together since 2019, 2018, whatever the fuck year it was, Endgame. So I didn't need, personally for me, I didn't need RDJ to come back. Now, did we think through the multiverse, RDJ would don the role of an Iron Man, a Tony Stark from a different universe? Yes, of course, we all thought that. Just like we think and know that Chris Evans is going to come back as Cap in some form. Just like we think and know that even though she says she's not, Scarlett Johansson is coming back as Natasha in some form. We'll see all these guys that have been here. We'll see guys that were here before the MCU was even formed in other Marvel projects coming into the MCU, coming into the multiversal saga due to Avengers 6 and Avengers 7, or Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. So we're going to see all of that shit go down. But to sit and say that you needed RDJ to get excited for the Avengers, that's bullshit to me. That's bullshit. You didn't need that. You went with RDJ because that was fucking safe. You went with RDJ because you think, again, because everybody online is like, RDJ, we love him. He's the godfather in the MCU. And I still say all of those things. But I didn't need RDJ to come back and get me excited for an Avengers film. I just didn't. And if you did, okay, cool, whatever. I'm not going to throw stones at you, but I didn't need that personally. Then he says, to be fair, I think it worked. RDJ announcement is the most viewed video on Instagram. And just because something is the most viewed does not mean it fucking worked. Well, I don't know where the logic is behind that last sentence. Just because it has so many views on Twitter does not then mean that it worked. That's not what that means. What that means is just people, even casual, because I've seen this conversation from other YouTubers having these conversations about RDJ. There were people that, again, kind of like with BP, how people weren't paying attention to Marvel, or that people that don't know anything about Marvel weren't privy to anything about Marvel until they saw the BP one in 2018. Again, I used the example of my mother and others that were just going because it was a cultural movement. They didn't know anything about it, but that's what lined Marvel's pockets for that $1.3 billion, their first $1.3 ever billion. So it was, it's kind of that same thing with BP. You had a lot of people with the RDJ situation wanting to, that were even casuals that don't know or don't care anything about the MCU, that heard Robert Downey Jr., the godfather of the MCU, is back. In what capacity? Let me go check this out. So of course you're going to get casuals like, oh, RDJ's back, but we watched him die in Endgame. How is he back? So yeah, so saying that it's the most viewed video, that doesn't give it any type of weight at all. Again, I have to see, as I mentioned today in the talking space I was in with Blue and everyone, I have to see RDJ as Doom first. I don't know what that's going to look like. We'll see it rumored wise in Spider-Man 4. We'll see it rumored wise in Fantastic Four and some other places, because again, they've got to start making him loom throughout the MCU. But I don't think that is true in any capacity when it says that they were looking to go. Now, maybe again, after him getting beat by ants and seeing the sour response to people, or from people online after seeing him, after Quantumania, then maybe. But Daniel himself has been one that posted. I mean, he was the one that announced that, oh, Marvel found a Kang. Again, Daniel can be hit or miss sometimes. That Marvel found a Kang and Marvel's going to do this. And he was the one saying that, oh, don't listen to the other scoopers. Kang still has a presence in Avengers 5 and 6. So where, again, I don't believe it. Is there going to be some type of version of Kang in Avengers 5 and 6? I can't even say anymore. I don't know. Again, they have to address it at some point. They have to address it's got to be addressed. The rumor is, and I don't believe this either, and if this is the way they're going to do it, then that is lazy, just like the RDJ casting is lazy. But it said, in the rumor, it says that RDJ in a post-credit scene is going to go in and decimate the Council of Kangs. It's going to be Doom, killing all the Kangs. Lazy. And if that's the way they do it, just to get rid, to be like, okay, we're addressing it. We don't want to talk about it. We're killing them. We're moving on. I mean, that could be the way that they do it. Even when Kevin Feige was asked about it while promoting Deadpool and Wolverine, he said, "You are the only interviewer today that's had the guts to ask me anything about Kang, and I'm just going to quietly skip over it." They're not talking about it. And maybe they're not talking about it because we have something planned, or maybe they just don't have shit planned at all. And again, maybe they just want to sweep it under the rug, hurry up and kill him and keep it pushing. So I don't know. But I also don't believe that they were before the legal issues, again, outside of the sour responses, looking to do something different other than that. So, but I do hope that, I can tell you this. I've said this before. I'm not on that Willy Wonka sugarcoating shit of telling you that Jonathan Majors is coming back to the MCU. I just don't see that. The magazine movie he's doing can do good. The other movie he's about to do about the detective or whatever, that can do good too. And I hope they do. I will be supporting him and watching him. But to say that they're going to bring Majors, I hope that those two films can wake up Marvel. I just don't see that. And I put that in the same category of them recasting T'Challa. They have stood 10 toes deep on that decision, and they are going to continue to stand 10 toes deep on that conversation. I just don't see them bringing Majors back, and it has nothing to do with anything like it has. For me, what I think, my opinion, I don't know, is it's an image thing at that point. And you could say, well, RDJ is an image problem. Josh Brolin is an image problem. William Hurt with his wife's stuff. Yeah, but we know how they like to pick and choose. It's an image issue at this point. We all know it's an image issue. Why would we bring this big ass black man that just got accused of all this stuff? Because you got the misinformation being spread on Twitter from people saying, oh, well, why would they bring back a woman abuser? Okay, well, you clearly need to shut the fuck up because you don't know what you're talking about. That's why I always say normalize staying out of conversations that you don't have any private or previous information to and joining them. It's ignorant. So the misinformation being spread about him, Marvel already going public in the trades and saying that, with the firing and everything like that, I just don't, in this reality, seeing them bring Majors back at all. Now, will they do Kang? I don't know. Exile Scooper tweeted earlier today that, let me actually just go to that so I can just put exactly what he said. Here it is. He tweeted that Marvel is casting someone to play the Beyonder. They are looking for a old big name actor. Liam Neeson is one of the names that has been brought up. It was previously planned in Avengers: The Kang Dynasty for Kang the Conqueror to have transformed into the Beyonder Kang after being trapped in the escaping from the Beyond Zone by absorbing the powers of the realm. And that was one of the plans at the original time. We knew that. But do I believe that Marvel's looking at Liam Neeson to come in and be the Beyonder? I don't. Where Exiled heard that, I'm not sure, but I don't believe that either, and I don't know that they're even going to do the Beyonder. Now, would it make sense to Secret Wars? Obviously, but Marvel is not, I don't know, they have a lot of loose ends and pieces to try to connect to make this make sense. If you do, I don't know. And if they do the Beyonder, maybe he's not even connected to Kang in any way at all. Maybe it's just the Beyonder, because that was something that a lot of people had issue with when it was rumored that Kang was going to eventually become the Beyonder. People were like, well, I don't want that. So maybe he's not even connected to Kang at all. So who knows? But, question is for you guys. What do you think about Daniel RPK and what he said there? So, and, about Kang being off the table long ago and RDJ being brought back in because it was going to put asses in the seats and blah, blah, blah. That's a better question. Did you need RDJ to go see Avengers 5 and 6? Did you need RDJ to get excited for Avengers 5 and 6? That's the better question. Let's see. All right, let's see what they're saying here. We'll start with Stamina, where he said there was goofy amounts of hype surrounding Kang. Quantum Mania put that shit in the ground, though. Exactly. I think yes. Crazy amounts. And it's crazy though, and I love Josh. I do. I love Josh over at Dinner Nerds, but it's crazy the amount of hate that Josh will say, oh no, Kang. He even did a tier list to try to prove that Kang is one of the worst villains in Marvel Comics. Josh, all of us, we all were. Stop the fakeness, bro. We were all excited to where that was going with Kang. For me, Loki is right under WandaVision for me. But that finale, I say this all the time as an example. Tom Hiddleston's acting after he got put back into what he thought was his reality at the TVA and found Mobius and Hunter B-15 and was just clearly the facial expressions, the body language, how afraid and frightened and terrified he was about Kang, hearing that I know everything. I know how this ends. I've written how all this ends. I can tell you what's going to happen. Hearing all of that, and then being completely terrified, turning around, seeing, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on? The statues of Kang. Bro, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. That shit was hype as fuck. That had us all theorizing. That had everybody online. People, YouTubers making videos of where this could be going, talking about all the videos popping up was learn who Kang is in 5 minutes. Get to know Kang. Who is Kang? Like, bro, stop. Everybody was excited. Like the bullshit about people saying like, oh, I was never excited about Kang. Shut the fuck up. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. So I completely agree with that. Let's see. Bird said Instagram famous is crazy. Yeah, right. That because it's the most viewed video on Instagram. Brother Stark said Kang losing to ants made him lose his hype. We never saw Thanos lose before he fought the Avengers. Kang was only built up in Loki, not from the beginning of the multiverse saga. And I agree with you there. We talked about that when we had more of the panel in the room. We talked about how it is very weird. The example I used was with the Infinity Saga, we got bits and pieces of Thanos here and there. We would see him in a post-credit scene here. We would see him show up there, blah, 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 blah. That built up to when you saw him in Infinity War and you saw him do the shit he was doing to the Asgardian ship. It was like, oh shit, this is real. So yeah, no, I even said that. I said they need to make us feel the way we felt at the beginning of Infinity War with Kang. You have to feel like, okay, this villain is not to be fucked with at all. Like Kang is not. I even said, instead of doing that stupid ass scene that they did in Quantumania where Janet touched his ship or whatever and saw little flashes of him flashing beams and we saw the broken Captain America shield, you should have taken it a step further. You didn't have to show actors' faces. You could have just shown them from behind, or maybe just showed their bodies or something like that. You should have shown Kang, like even in the comics, he has the trophy room of all the different variations and variants that he's collected, and body parts, helmets, shields, costumes that he's collected from different universes of the Avengers. Even do that, or maybe have him sitting on a throne above dead bodies of the Avengers to really hype up the fact that holy fuck, he's done this before. Let's even go back to D23 or whenever it was where they saw the video of Kang having the conversation with Ant-Man and his daughter when he said, I will kill her and make you relive this moment over and over and over again. And then when he even got confused, when he said, which one are you? Or you're not the one with the hammer, are you? They all blur together. I get confused. When we heard that shit before we saw it, because we didn't get to see it. We only got the description from the people that got to see it. That was hype. Everybody was hype about that. Everybody's like, oh my God. Bro, shut the fuck up. Like that, we were all hype, bro. We were all hype. It's crazy. That's crazy. Uncle Ben said, exactly, that's such BS. Paul said, maybe I gotta turn in my blurred card, but Kang in the comics bored me. I had trouble staying awake reading Busey's Avengers Forever. And there are some people that do feel that way. That, you know, maybe that's why Josh did the tier list saying that, you know, Kang is one of the worst villains that the Avengers have faced and things like that. I like Kang, and I think my like for Kang came because Children's Crusade and things like that and blah, 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 and other mediums that I've seen him in. I do like Kang, though. I was excited for Kang. And maybe it was more Jonathan Majors. I don't know. Stamina said, Kang getting knuckled up by Scott Lang, the utter disgrace. Yeah, that too. Xavier said, they realized they dropped the ball setting up the threat of Kang. I agree, it's Marvel Studios' fault. It's definitely their fault. Brother Stark said, Ant-Man ain't even the best character in his own movies. Ant-Man is Ant-Man 1 is Lewis's movie. Ant-Man 2 is Wasp's movie. Ant-Man 3 is Kang's movie. And you know, the example I use is whenever in the fuck has anyone, when there's catastrophe in the world, or New York is on fire, or there's an impending Galactus threat, no one ever said, you know what, get fucking Ant-Man on the phone. We got a problem. No one says that in the MCU. No one says that. So no one's yelling to get Ant-Man, you know. So why Ant-Man was fighting Kang, I'll never know. Paul said, I'm sorry, not talking to me. Uncle Ben said the only way they could redeem him losing is if they write it where he chose to lose in battle. He chose to lose at a battle to win the war. That. Raptor said, Kang was the only thing worth looking forward to aside from Spider-Man, and Marvel knows it. Also, they pull Doctor Doom out of thin air and pretend there's hype around him, ? Yeah, and the thing that everybody's like, I've seen some people saying like, well, we had to get to Doom. We were always getting to Doom. I know a lot of people like to forget this because the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman and how Marvel wanted you to pay to grieve again. Marvel wanted you to buy a ticket to come grieve at our funeral and pay for your pay to be morbid. I know in the mix of all that we forget Doom was originally showing up in Black Panther 2 in a post-credit scene. We all know this. We've talked about that. We talked about that way back when. We saw the photos that got leaked for it, the computer CGI photos that they had for it and all that kind of stuff. No, Doom, like the shit, the digging for vibranium, that was what's her name? The character, fuck, I don't even remember. She went from being important in Wakanda Forever to not being important. She's at the very beginning. They're digging for the vibranium in the ocean. That was originally going to be a team that Victor Von Doom had sent there. Like, bro, stop it. Like, people trying to say that Doom was never, we had to get to Doom was coming. He was coming, and it was never going to be no damn RDJ. So they could have done Doom in any kind of way, but they chose to do this, like Daniel said, in a gimmicky way because they thought it was going to get asses back in seats, and it is. RDJ is going to get asses in the seats because there are, again, so many casuals talking about it. But that does not mean that everybody's loving it either. Paul said, narratively, even if we don't see Avengers in current stuff, they shouldn't be defunct. Brian said, you really think Evans and Scarlett are coming? Oh, yeah. I do. Now, of course, for Secret Wars, he asked, what about T'Challa? Yes. For Secret Wars, I'm going to continue to say that. I believe because, and especially now so that the Russos are doing it, and the Russos have been saying they want to do Secret Wars for a long time. And again, there are key players to Secret Wars, and I would hope that they truly do understand that. Now, if there's some type of weird fucking mandate, just like we've learned even over with the most recent bullshit with Bo DeMeo, talking about continuity over humanity, and it was just too soon, and they didn't want to put him in an animated form. Let's not forget that, in an animated form. I don't know. Unless there's some type of weird mandate on him to where he can't be used, and it's like, oh no, it's still too soon. Oh, we're still fake hurt. It's still too soon. We don't want to use T'Challa yet. No, then I don't know. But I would hope, I want to be subscribed to the idea that he is going to show up in Avengers, both the Avengers 5 and 6, or just 6 in Secret Wars. I don't know, but I really do think he is going to show up. I just feel like he has to. He just has to. He's a key part of that story. But then again, we've seen a lot of makeshift versions of Marvel Studios and what they do with films outside of comics. So I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see. Let's skip down a little. Brother Stark, well, no. Zen said, Terrence Howell became variant. Brother Stark said, Marvel does lazy-ass writing for black characters, kill the royal family, send Monica away, no blue Marvel, sideline Patriot and Isaiah, Rhodey gets pushed back, Nick Fury gets terrible show, and Blade just doesn't exist. Yeah, no, I agree. Paul said, rather than a son, they had a chance to use a time-displaced teen T'Challa played by an actor who played him in BP1 deleted scene. They could have done anything. I mean, anything but again, kill him. So, let's see. Grace says, still the best episode of Loki. Yeah, bro. Yes, Bobby said Majors was cooking. He definitely was. Zen said, the problem is that Marvel forgot to make us care. They now just expect us to. Yeah. And again, that's their fault. They set up Thanos brilliantly. You did a shit job setting up Kang. That's your fault. That's their fault. Stamina said, in fairness, He Who Remains set the table nicely. Victor Timely kind of, oh yeah, for sure. That Victor shit was awful. Split the audience, though. Not everyone could get their head around him. The Quantumania lit the funeral fire. No comebacks. No, I agree with you completely. I do agree with that. Like that Victor Timely shit, it's not how I was expecting the Victor Timely thing to go. Why they wrote Victor Timely to be this stuttering ass, bumbling fool, I don't know. I did not like the Victor Timely shit. I don't like, hot take maybe, Loki season 2. Not a fan. Dan the Man said, who else ready for the reboot post Secret Wars? Brave New World and Thunderbolts is just buying time. I think we'll get a glimpse of what the new universe will look like in Fantastic Four. Stamina said, was going to be Doom, and we got Valentina and Ross instead. Fair trade. Dan the Man said, BP3 rumored villain. Don't play with me, Darius. I'm still reeling from your Damson Idris rumor. Yeah, we're going to get into that one. Too. So anyway, that's the Kang news there, or just what Daniel had to say. Now, let's talk BP3. Let's get into that one. That is the last topic of the evening, so we'll get into BP3. BP3 is rumored from Exiled Scooper, what he said. Actually, let's go to his tweet before we go into that part. Let me find his tweet here. Murdez. So Exiled Scooper tweeted on yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. That American Panther is rumored to be the main villain for Black Panther 3. So with American Panther being rumored for Black Panther 3, is this real? I don't know. We're just going to talk about it. The character was introduced in 2011 in Marvel Comics. He was a part of a 3-issue. He showed up once and part of a 3-issue deal. He wears the Stars and Stripes. He is one of those think those Make America Great Again type of people. He is one of those type of people. He believes that he is fighting for his country and he's going to do whatever it takes to defend his country. He's the opposite of obviously T'Challa, where he is invoking, T'Challa is against racism, discrimination, ignorance, etc., etc. This guy kind of somewhat embodies all of that. So TLDR there, we're going to play a video kind of just going into American Panther here so it can kind of be explained, and TLDR on all that kind of stuff. But what we kind of know about, actually, let's get into this first before we get into that. So let's play what Dude is saying here.
Individual who embodies everything king to ignorance, all fueled by vengeance. In many ways, he's one of the greatest foils Black Panther has ever had. from an ideological point of view and from a visual point of view. While T'Challa donned a civilian disguise of Dr. Okwanko, he was forced to confront a man by the name of Josh Glenn, who had been publishing misleading photos of the Black Panther to turn the public against him. Josh Glenn had been fired from his office job a year earlier due to his discriminatory behavior. Fascinated with the work of the hate-monger, he would attempt to rally Americans to his cause, that immigrants were stealing their jobs and taking over, though in reality immigration itself fuels more jobs if anything. Anyways, while down and out, the spirit of the original hate-monger hitches a ride on an Asgardian fear object and would possess Glenn, turning him into the new hate-monger. Now before I continue, you're probably wondering just who in the hell is the hate-monger. Well, basically, he was a clone of Adolf Hitler, created by Ernest Zola, and by that I mean Zola transferred his brain into another body when he died, following the events of World War II. So, yeah. Anyways, Josh Glenn had become the new hate-monger, possessed by the original one's evil spirit. Just go with it, that's where we find ourselves now. When T'Challa came face to face with hate-monger, he was also graced with the distasteful presence of the American Panther, the muscle behind hate-monger's operation. American Panther is not only willing to protect his boss, but in his eyes is the savior of the American people. He will protect them no matter what the cost. Though his real name is unknown, it's revealed that when the American Panther was just a boy, his father was killed at the hands of an immigrant who was also his mother's lover. When the killer was extradited to Sweden for his trial, he walked away free on a technicality. This resulted in the American Panther growing up with pure hatred and hostility towards immigrants, viewing them all as corrupt, which is why he teams with the hate-monger to promote the idea of embracing the hate. When he fights Black Panther later in the story, he tells him that he should have left his mother alone, meaning, like many like-minded individuals, he paints all immigrants the same way, sort of like everyone from the Middle East being a terrorist after 9/11. It's an unjust and unfair belief system formed from ignorance, or the refusal of, well, logic. Anyways, Black Panther would have, but now they have turned on him, not wanting to be controlled. He is essentially eaten alive. Though the American Panther only made one appearance throughout the events of a 3-part story, I think there was a lot to say with him, and he posed a challenge to the Black Panther, not only physically, but from a moral standpoint too. Of course, T'Challa's ideology is vastly superior. You don't need me to tell you that. But when someone faces off against you with such an extreme stance, the polar opposite of your own, it can make for an interesting dynamic. American Panther was a former police officer for the NYPD who used that role to vent anger towards immigrants and was guilty of countless instances of brutality. It also provided him with the skills necessary to do what he does now, hate on people full time. The mentality of the American Panther is that of a right-wing extremist, hell-bent on maintaining their country's traditions and culture no matter what the cost, a fight that in many ways is futile.
Okay, we'll stop. We'll stop there. Just because, I mean, we get the point. We get where, I just did that for a little TLDR, a little quick synopsis of who the character is, and I guess we can even go a little deeper here. If you guys want to, really quickly. Hold on. Because I thought I had this pulled up already. Thought I had you. There we go. All right. I'm going to go a little deeper. I'm going to get into the comments here in a minute. Okay, a former police officer, the American Panther's early life was scarred by the death of his father at the hands of his mother's lover. Then it says he was extradited to a Swedish court, which we just learned. He just said that in order to face trial his father's murderer walked away free on a technicality, leading the Panther to blame the corruption for foreigners for this miscarriage of justice. In response, the young man sought training and vengeance, eventually tracking down his father's murderer in Sweden before executing him. Following this, the Panther also served as a police officer in New York. This occupation allowed him him to give full vent to all of his repressed rage by demonstrating an extreme antipathy towards foreigners and immigrants. A character trait that attracted the attention of the hate monger, sculpting the man into the champion of his twisted ideology. Hate monger sent about wrestling Hell's Kitchen from the watch of the Black Panther. Now, you need who to do this? Let me tell you why. Nothing you do, you just watched it with Namor. Nothing you do without the franchise's main character is going to work. This does not work without Black Panther, T'Chaka's son. It doesn't work without him. It doesn't, bro. You cannot have. And here's how I think they're gonna. This is how I think they're going to do it in the MCU. Let me go there first before I start going. Let's bring it back down real quick. Here's what I think they're gonna do. We already know that right now in the MCU, the Wakanda's not special. It's not special at all in the MCU. It's not special like it is in the comics. In the comics, Wakanda is the most technologically advanced nation in the world. Okay, we give them that in the MCU. That title has not been stripped from them yet. And within the MCU, they're the most technologically advanced nation in the world. Blah 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 blah. But with also in the MCU, we learn that vibranium is not sacred to the Wakandans. Anybody can have vibranium, as we see the Namor and the Atlanteans or Talakanians or whatever the fuck they are. They've got vibranium. Yet people drilling for vibranium and all this kind of stuff. Now that happens in the comics and things like that too, as far as like trying to obtain, vibranium. That was Doom's whole purpose and what they were going to do with Black Panther 2 before it was revised. So we get that. We learned that Wakanda is not as tactical as we thought that they were. They're not as strong as we thought that they were. Any old body could just waltz into Wakanda if they want. Namor waltzed into Wakanda anytime he wanted. The Queen Mother and the Princess were just by themselves anytime, any old time. There was no protection. There was no security at any point in time. And then their brilliance, and I'm going to stop here. The brilliancy that we learned from Wakanda was that they thought to themselves, hey, we are going to war against motherfuckers that live in the water, motherfuckers that ride on whales, motherfuckers that have bombs made of water that can destroy so many different things and kill our people, kill the Queen Mother, But hey, our brilliant strategic plan here in Wakanda is let's go in the ocean and let's fight them there. So we learned so much about Wakanda, not positive, but we learned a lot about Wakanda. One of the things to, again, taking it back to the whole purpose of Wakanda Forever and the things that they were doing, the plot of trying to get the vibranium. So at the end of that, and I think it was a post-credit scene, is when Namor was talking to Namora, and they said to them, she was like, or I don't know if it's a post-credit scene or not, when the fuck it was, whatever, had said something like, what did she say? I saw it online. Why did you help Syria, or why did you let her go back, or da-da-da-da, and he had said something like, they're going to have to come to us, they're going to need our help, or blah, 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 blah. Now, if this is the villain for Black Panther 3, now I won't be in attendance, I won't be seated, but I will be covering it up until that moment. If this is the villain, and I don't know, maybe Wakanda has to go to Namor for help this time around, and it's because there are other nations or fractions still trying to get vibranium, and maybe he's going to be the muscle of a bigger villain that's trying to get, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to try to do the mental gymnastics to try to make it make sense. What I'm saying is, once again, we are getting another shitty idea, another shitty plot, more over the bridge, around the tree, up, can't go over it, can't go around it, can't go through it, more stupid shit with the Black Panther franchise that's not involving T'Challa. I don't think that this is not the storyline I would have gone with the BP3, but with T'Challa involved, I'm still like, with this story, but at the same time, I'm still like, well, okay, we'll see how this goes. Let's see how King T'Challa handles this situation in the live action world of the MCU. None of this shit matters. Nothing that they do with Black Panther, as I've said many times, it does not matter. If you don't recast this character in the soft reboot, and again, I hate to come in and rain on parades. I hate to be the one that shits on everything like that when it comes to the recasting of the character. I stand strong in wanting the character recasted, but We just learned and watched 3 months ago, 4 months ago, whenever it was, they won't do him in animation. Animation. In a completely different timeline from your sacred timeline within the MCU that you're saying that that's the reason you're not recasting him because we cared that much and it's out of respect for that character and it was still just too soon and humanity over continuity and all the other bullshit that they've said. If they won't do him in animation, I don't know what thought process makes anyone think that they're going to recast him in live action. Until, and I'm going to continue to say this, until Marvel Studios gets on some stage or from some trade or something like that and says, hey, we've come to our senses, and I don't know if that's maybe what those focus groups are going to be. Who knows when those focus groups are going to go into effect? What if those focus groups don't go into effect until 2029, 2032? Who knows when those focus groups go into effect about them wanting to focus on the online conversations of what people want and what they don't want? And of course, they know about Recast T'Challa. They're aware of the hashtag. They know it exists. They know we exist. They know the petition exists. They know everything about it thus far. And yet they still said it's too soon in animation to, and that's not even a recast. That's not even a recast. That's a drawing. So if they won't do it there, they're not doing it in live action because they don't give a fuck. And as I've said many times, and I don't know. And this is my speculation. I'm not telling you that this is what Marvel Studios is doing because I see so many people come in saying, "Well, why are you making it about race and this and this and this and that?" Okay, whatever. My thing is this. And again, I'm not saying that this is their thinking over. This is what I think their thinking is. It's frightening, as I've said before. It's frightening to have a black character have that much power. Not just over the black community, but there were little Asian kids, Mexican kids, or Hispanic kids, Native American kids, white kids wanting to be the Black Panther. T'Challa became a household name. Where he was not, he then was. And that's terrifying. That scares people. What? As Chadwick Boseman said in that Elvis Duran or whoever the fuck that interview was that he did with the British folks. When he said, it's not uncommon in basketball or in sports arenas for a kid to look up to a sports icon or someone and want to emulate and be that. It's not how many white kids do we see saying Kobe? How many white kids want to be like Mike? How many white kids love LeBron James? Of course, so we see that. Of course, we see that in that avenue. But it's rare, as Chadwick Boseman said. It is rare in the avenue of superheroes, or you don't see it in the avenue of superheroes because it hasn't existed, for a white kid to want to emulate and be a black superhero. So that was something that he had noticed during the promotion of Black Panther that stuck out to him. And I remember seeing many articles, people talking about their kid wanted to dress up, their white child wanted to dress up as the Black Panther for Halloween. That's terrifying. That's not the narrative that they want to paint. Even if you go back and you watch older interviews of Stan Lee talking about the creation of Black Panther, when you don't even have to go back that far. Go back to 2018 when they were getting ready for the film, when he was talking about the Black Panther. The interviewer asked him about, when you were creating the Black Panther, what were you thinking? Well, I created the Black Panther because that's not the typical way. You're right, a black guy. Of course. That's why the character was written that way, because it was representation. Jack Kirby, for the people that like to come in here and, come in with misinformation or try to say that people are mad because we're being fanboys or it's disrespectful or whatever, Jack Kirby created that literal character for representation, for literal representation. The character was created for that purpose. So, and then when people say, chill out, be patient, the character's going to be on, I think I had somebody tell me, they're going to recast when they redo everything in like 2030 something. The idea that we have, that we all have the luxury or have the, thank you for that, have the, I'll get to that super chat in just a second, to that we're all going to make it to 2030 or whatever. I've said that too. There were people that were here long before T'Challa fans, long before I was, that were reading these comments in the 60s and things like that, before I was even a thought. People that have been wanting to see this character since then on screen, and they finally got the chance to in one film of his own and a handful of cameos, and then you take him off the screen. So for you to say to these 50, 60-year-olds that are really big Marvel Black Panther fans, or maybe became comic book fans because Marvel in 1966 showed T'Challa with the Fantastic Four, and then he went on to be a king of his own goddamn nation and have all these different comic stories and things like that. Maybe that's what drew them to comics. Maybe that's what had them even become a Marvel fan. So for you to sideline that and then tell these 60, 50, however year old people, hey, be patient and wait 10 to 15 more years, bro, fuck you. And even for you to tell me as a fan of 30 years old that I need to wait or be patient, fuck you. Because if someone told you, if it was your character, if this was Spider-Man or anybody else or Iron Man or Captain America, and we were saying, hey, just be patient. You see how we're only being patient with the black characters. With Blade, we want to get it right. We want to get it perfect. Be patient. You want T'Challa back? We hear you. Be patient. Monica, she was going to get her series. She was going to get her movie. She's trapped in another universe. Be patient. We're being patient with all these black characters. But if we told one of y'all, be patient with your blonde-haired, blue-eyed Captain America, you would be up in arms. Be patient with Spider-Man. You'd be pissed as fuck. You're already pissed with Sony. I'm pissed with you because I'm a Spider-Man fan. But you all would be saying the exact same thing if it was Spider-Man. Why are we being told to be patient with Spider-Man? If you were being told to be patient with Iron Man, why are we being told to be patient with Iron Man? Hell, you're mad at Marvel Studios right now because they're telling you the same thing with Hulk. Be patient. So for any of you to sit and make this accusation or have the audacity to tell someone to be patient, it's easy to say when it's not your fucking character to be patient. So no, bro, like any of this without T'Challa, it simply does not work. It doesn't. None of this works without T'Challa. So any of these rumors of who a villain could be or what the story's going to be, I'm telling you right now, they've stood 10 toes down. They're going to stay 10 toes down. They told a story. I don't think they're going to deviate from that story. Some people could say, well, the multiverse is going to shake it up and maybe the T'Challa from that universe. And maybe that was my rumor. That was the rumor that I had heard from the source that came to me and said that, hey, Damson Idris is going to play T'Challa from a different universe. That universe, he's going to be brought in and be the T'Challa of our new universe. Maybe, but then what do you do with the kid? Do you just make him the step kid or... But even in that rumor I heard that they wanted to do away with the kid. But I'm telling you, bro, I always was a little rocky on that part of the rumor because I don't think they're going to do away with the kid. Why would we put so much into this child? We did a post-credit scene to tell MCU fans that this is going to be the future of the Black Panther franchise. We told people that we're not recasting the character out of respect for Chadwick Boseman. We even showed you in 2024 that we don't even want to do him in animation. So I just don't have... My glass isn't half full on T'Challa coming back, or full at all, or empty. I don't even think I got a drop of T'Challa in my glass being recasted outside of him showing up in possibly Avengers 5 and 6. So, I don't know. But it's crazy. It's crazy. We've got some... they've got some loose ends and a lot of shit to do. And like I said, as I've said, and I saw somebody say it in here, I think it was Brother Stark that said, I would just prefer they don't do Black Panther 3. And I say the same. I'm with the way I feel about the Black Panther franchise in Marvel is the way I feel about Star Wars with Lucasfilm just as a whole. Every time something gets announced for Lucasfilm, I would, even if it's good, as I use this as an example, I'm going to use this as an example. I would love a young Sheev Palpatine series. I would love to have, the fan casting of Tom Hiddleston coming in and portraying a young Sheev. Bro, I would love that. Under the current regime, I would prefer you didn't. I don't want you to. Please don't touch that. Don't touch it. Under the current regime, I would prefer you don't. Now, if Marvel Studios got on stage and said, someone else is directing Black Panther 3 and the cast is going to be different because we killed them all in an incursion in Secret War. I don't think that's happening, but I've said many times I think that's the only way it works. You've got to get rid of everybody that was involved because, again, everybody's feelings are too attached to Chadwick Boseman. I'm not gonna say that. Everybody's feelings are too attached to Chadwick Boseman, so it's not. Everybody's got to go, and I don't see Marvel getting on stage and saying that at all. The next time they get on stage, if they do a BP3, it's gonna be with Ryan Coogler holding that microphone, discussing how they just still can't move forward because it's still an empty hole for them, and it's gonna be an empty hole for them. If they spent as much time with Chad as they said they spent with Chad and things like that, and if they really do care, and I'm not speaking on anyone's real feelings. If they really do care, well, I think we've said also before. Now fuck all that. We've said also before. The cast of Fast and Furious got through it, and they were with Paul Walker much longer than the cast of BP1. You have at the end of the day you have a fucking job to do. At the end of the day, you have a fucking job to do, and if you can't do that job, why do we have to go through this all the time? This. I feel like a broken record saying the same shit over and over. If you can't do your job, then remove yourself from said job. If you can't come in day to day, and I get it, it hurts. It hurts. I've used this example. I used it during the promotion for Black Panther 2. As a basketball coach, I have lost 2 of my boys in car accidents. My job understood. They let me go home. I mourned. I grieved with the family on my own. But at the end of the day, bills are still due. You still have a job, whether you be an actor, whether you be a plumber, whether you be working behind somebody's register at a fast food restaurant. You still have a job to do, and if you can't do said job, then remove yourself. And I'm sorry if you feel that's me being insensitive. No, that's not me being insensitive. What I think is really being insensitive is that you expect for these hurt people that are hurt to come into a hurt environment and create something that they said was going to be cathartic. And if you felt that Black Panther 2 was cathartic, I didn't feel that at all. So you're asking those same hurt people to come back and make another hurt film. Because they're still going to be hurt. They're still going to feel the absence of Chadwick Boseman. Remove them all. Get rid of every single one of them and have someone come in that's not attached to Chad. That's not attached, that wasn't going to lunch with him or having the conversations or whatever it was they felt that attached them so much to Chad. Not knowing he had cancer. Get rid of them. You gotta get people in here that know what they're doing. You gotta get people in here that are actually going to try to push the story forward. But that also starts at the top. That is not something that just get rid of the director and things like that. Because I don't believe it's just Ryan Coogler and company wanting to not recast T'Challa. Even though Kevin Feige and company have come out and said, oh yeah, we don't want, we left it on the shoulders of the cast and crew what they wanted to do. And when Ryan and Nate Moore sat down behind that closed door and decided within minutes that they weren't going to recast him, that's just what we went with, and we respected that. Bullshit. And the reason I say bullshit is because of what we just watched in 97. There is some type of weird mandate that's higher than Coogler, because Coogler didn't have fucking shit to do with 97. So there's some mandate that's higher than Coogler, and that mandate has to be coming from Feige because he is the president of the studio. And if it's coming from higher than Feige, why Bob Iger is involved with who's shown on screen or who's not shown on screen at Marvel is, again, beyond me. And if they are gatekeeping T'Challa, again, that's why I say, bro, this is really what's that fucking movie with Nicolas Cage where you're trying to get this is a national treasure type of film. You're going through all these loops and hoops and trying to understand these map pieces and these puzzle pieces that fit here and who's really making the decisions and this person. It's a circus. It's a circus. So until Marvel gets out and gives us some type of definitive answers on some of this shit, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. Just don't see it. But, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm just a very pragmatic person. I look at the things as they are, and maybe I had some type of hope, live action hope, maybe sliver before 97, but especially with what Bo just recently, there's more to that conversation. Because originally he told us I wasn't part of those conversations. That wasn't a decision of mine. You lied there, because you then later said, well, yeah, we chose humanity over continuity, which means you were a part of that conversation, because if you know that they chose humanity over continuity, then you were privy to whatever the fuck was going on. Now, if he knows why they're not recasting or why they won't do T'Challa or whatever, I don't know. Maybe that's above his pay grade. But there is something. I just don't know what it is. So, anyway, with that rumor there, we're going to cover anything BP. So, whether we're watching it or not, we're going to cover anything BP. Someone said, when is Black Panther 3 releasing? He said 2027 or 2028. Someone said this will cook. Someone said Killmonger is already an American Panther. Main villain is Agatha, agent of Mephisto. I don't know where that is, what that has to do with anything. Someone said, sadly, this is just uninspired enough to be true. Oh God, yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna like that. Damn, that is very true. Sadly, this is uninspired enough to be true. Someone says, doesn't BP have a guy named what? He's much more notable as one of his main villains. There's other. Okay, someone said Ryan Gosling. Someone said, I looked it up and it's a real thing. Okay, well, the character's a real thing, but Marvel Studios saying anything about that's not a real thing. Someone said, who? Yeah, so. Yeah. Same shit we're looking at. Yeah. Let's see what y'all got to say on that topic there. Actually, I'm sorry. Let me read Michael's super chat, which I very much appreciate you for, Michael. Michael said, in comics where there's a main story and then the last 6 pages, a short story, that is mildly interesting but serves as an issue filler. That's what all the new MCU feels like to me. Yeah. Use the hashtag I'm toxic. Yeah, no, you're not wrong and you're not toxic. You are just simply observing reality. You are observing the same things a lot of us are observing. A lot of this just feels like filler. A lot of it feels like, like I said, projects that don't get us toward the multiverse or don't have something to do with that. What are we doing? So let's see what y'all are saying here. T'Challa, please stop moving the fucking camera. Okay. Green TV said, if this is the real villain, I'll be damned. Marvel is bold. They give us a black king and then they kill him and give us a stereotype for his son, and next give us the antithesis of him. It's not really even like, there's nothing really that he said that's funny. It's just like, it's funny because what the fuck are they doing? What are they thinking? Like, why? It's you gotta laugh to keep from really going off. Agent Black said, hey, y'all need to be quiet. He's hunting wabbits. So y'all talk about that dude's voice. Paul said, Secret Wars series was boo-boo. However, it gives the MCU an out. Since Everett Ross was replaced by a Skrull, BP2, and T'Challa/Ramonda's deaths can be a Stia's dream. Well, it could be a dream. I'm telling you, I just don't see any of that. I don't see them redoing. I don't know. I just went on the tyrant of it, Bird said, this will make 300 to 400 million at the box office if true. D. Stizzle said, Rot from Comics Explained, old jolly self would call this rumor amazing. Chi-Town said, Buddy sounds like he's got peanut butter stuck at the roof of his mouth. Y'all better get off that man. Brother Stark said Black Panther 3 will bomb at the box office. Yeah, anything like this. Raymond said this is the villain. Yeah, brother. That rumored wise, that's the villain they want. It's the villain they want. Suri would be fighting him. Dan the Man said, you don't bring in Secret Wars if you won't recast. And I agree. But again, I need the animation thing explained to me before I can believe anything you're doing in live action. I need the animation shit explained to me. Why couldn't you do it in animation? Thank you for that. Another one, Andre. Thank you for that. I'll get to that in just a second as well. Let's see. Uncle Ben said they got to bring Luke Cage back. Plus, Misty or Simone is Misty. Raptor Cloak said Killmonger fighting American Panther would have been interesting, but without T'Challa himself, forget about that. Bird said, I would like us to try to get a fan-funded BP animated movie created. Let's organize this. It's time. And you know what? So many of us have said, I've said this on the channel too, using Star Wars Theory as an example. You look at what he's doing with his Vader film. Now, granted, he's putting millions of dollars into that. I think he put it into like over $1 million into part 2 that, you know, that part 1 came out a long time ago. And I can imagine it's taking him a long time, obviously, because he's not a studio. He's not a corporation that has the money to build. But there are people that are doing that are taking matters into their own hands because it's like, fuck these studios, fuck this. There's even been on Twitter that I've seen like pictures of people saying, how is it possible that fan-made superhero outfits look better than what these studios are doing, and that these fan-made superhero films are even somewhat better than what these studios are doing? Yeah, bro, there are people that have to start taking matters into their own hands if we want to see something be the way we want it done. Green TV said, I'll take one for the team and speak to Kevin Feige myself. Xavier said they really don't care and scared of his impact. Oh yeah. Dan the Man said he's still in comics, 616 and Ultimates, Marvel Rivals too, so he isn't completely gone. Granted, he shouldn't be gone at all, but he'll return in the film sooner or later than at this stage. Yeah, but again, like I said, in the newest video game coming out, they use T'Challa when it's convenient because they know he sells. There are certain I collect, as you guys know, Marvel figures. Every wave T'Challa's a part of, that's something I have to order T'Challa's because I can't find them in stores because they sell. They're always gone. People love this character. They use him when it is convenient for them to use him. With the Marvel Rivals thing, that's not too isn't Marvel Rivals a Japanese game anyway? So I don't even think that really has too much to do with them. But when it comes to the stuff and what else did you mention that he's in? The comics. He's still in the comics and things like that. But we just saw him, how horribly he got treated in the comics. In those most recent issues with Ridley. So, and I didn't read those. I haven't read in quite some time. But I remember saying at the time, what the fuck am I picking up a comic for if he's getting treated like that? No. So there's the way he was getting treated in the comics. And yes, I know with the Ultimate stuff, again, I'm not a reader of it any longer, but I hear it's better. So it's still not the same respect, though, that these other characters and things are getting. And I think that's my issue with it, is people keep saying, like, yeah, but, or, well, it's gonna, and they're trying, but we're not, that same tone and conversation is not used with any other character. We're not doing the yeah, buts with this character. We're not saying, well, they're gonna do with this character, or well, at least he's getting this outside of, like, we're not saying that. We're just simply not saying that. So I think that's one of my issues with it too, is that people want to throw on this, like, it's the same thing that people were telling me with X-Men 97. When people kept telling me, because again, I'm going to always say this, we were one of the first channels to put out there on YouTube that, hey, X-Men 97 is great, but there's a melanin issue, and we got shit for that. Shit for it. People kept telling me, you're complaining and it's episode 4. There's 10 episodes. People told me middle of the season. You're complaining and it's the middle of the season. They've got another half. People told me at the end of the season. You're complaining and there's a second season. So it's still that yeah, but conversation. We're not doing that with anyone else. Imagine they had... Bro, I'm not getting into that. Connoisseur Triple Salute said, been gone for a minute. Nice to see you still cooking, Darius. I appreciate you being here, brother. Elliot R. said, multiverse, 3 different Spider-Men. Can we turn off the stream on that? Do we need to continue to elaborate on all that shit? I mean, it's strange to me. It's strange. Like, we can say all of this about all these other characters. Like, we just saw a herd of Deadpools, multiple Wolverines, and everybody's like, yeah, multiple T'Challas. No, but I don't know. Let's talk about it, bro. D. Stizzle said, way too many ninjas co-signed T'Challa's funeral. Yep. Gray said, fuck patience and motherfuck them too. Raymond said, we have 3 Spider-Man, multiple Lokis, 2 Thors, 2 Captain Americas. Hell, we've even got thousands of multiple Wolverines and Deadpools and 2 Human Torches, 0 T'Challas. Yep. Xavier said, one can only hope they keep it 100 and wake up to the nonsense. Stamina said, leave the kid, don't age him up. Just do some other shit and keep him in Haiti. Yeah. Joel said, age up the kid in time to skip and do story with Storm. But see, my issue with that part is, I don't want T'Challa's child in the end, because that's what it would be in the MCU. T'Challa, and I'm giving you a story of the MCU. I'm not saying that this is my version of it. This is what it would be in the MCU. T'Challa's child now marries Storm? I don't like that. As a Storm fan, as a T'Challa fan, as how respected that relationship was in Marvel Comics, never ever in Marvel history has the Watcher come to somebody's funeral, or wedding. Every hero was there. It was a sight to see. There was actually they got married in the middle of the Civil War, didn't they? They put aside, the 2 teams put aside their differences to come to the Queen in this Omega level goddess fucking Queen of Wakanda's wedding. No, bro, like it was, that relationship is it's something big. Neri said, facts, Lupita gotta go for sure. Yep, what she told us. What did she say? I don't even remember what she said. Oh yeah, for the kids to be quiet, or whatever she said. I remember we made that thumbnail of her shushing them crying kids. Raymond said, I believe the cast doesn't even care to come back after Chadwick's death. They barely wanted to do Wakanda Forever, and that's true too. Gray said, new creatives, team, and cast. Neri said, I thought old girl quit acting, and so isn't this new Black Panther gone? Are we talking about, or not Lupita, we're talking about, why am I blanking on her name? Suri, but what is, God. I'm blanking. Suri, though. I believe that was like, what, in 2018, she did an interview or something like that said she had given her life to God and wasn't going to act anymore. But obviously that was long ago. So I don't know if God told her. Maybe she thought, I don't know. I don't want to speak to anybody what they thought God told her. But obviously them bills was a little bit louder because she came right back. Bird said, do you think whoever told that BP3 rumor on purpose tried to quiet down the recast noise? Maybe. I do think that there are certain things that are said to try to quiet down. Like when Kevin Feige came out and said that bullshit, at the time we just felt it was too soon. Hadn't said shit else about it since then. Now, T'Challa. Now, Black Tree TV did that interview with Kevin Feige for promoting the Deadpool, while he was promoting Deadpool and Wolverine, and they asked him what did he think about the impact of BP1, because they were comparing it to the impact of Deadpool and blah 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 blah, just getting the how much money the film was going to get, and how BP brought Marvel's first billion. And Kevin Feige talked about how the impact of BP1, and the thing he remembered the most was seeing people in the lobbies and being able to see themselves and things like that. But if you know that and you understand that, why would you take that? And I know some people might say, well, they didn't take that. Stop saying they took it. You still got black representation. But you don't have the black rep. You don't have the reason we're there. You have to understand, is anybody picking up I could be wrong, you may be. Are you picking up a Black Panther comic because of the stuff that's going on outside of T'Challa in the Black Panther comic books? Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe you are. Maybe you're somebody that's paying attention to the outside stories. Maybe you don't care about the overall main story that is T'Challa. So why why would you take that representation away? If you know that that was the exciting thing to see, kids seeing themselves in T'Challa. I mean, even Chadwick Boseman talked about that. He said, people are going to want to be my sister who's played, or who's Shuri. People are going to want to be Okoye who's played by Denai. People are going to want to be this character, but I'm the main character. His words. I'm the Panther. I'm T'Challa. So of course they want to, yeah, but like, bro, what? It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's funny because anytime you use receipts where Chadwick himself is definitively rebutting against something they say, they're like, oh, well, Marvel. It's not what Marvel wanted. I don't care what his brother or his niece said. I don't care what any of them has said. I only care what Marvel says. Somebody said, I'm sorry, Raymond said, Lynn Whitfield as Queen Ramonda too soon. Let me see. Raptor Cloak said, Wakanda Forever barely made money without T'Challa. His bastard putting on that suit isn't going to make a penny in BP3. Elliot R. said, I was talking to Gray, Uncle Ben said, they already got rid of the Queen. They really only have the core four, Syria, Koye, M'Baku, and Nakia. They can reboot because I really don't care about them. Yeah? Raymond said, hire everybody from Woman King. Brother Stark said, reboot the MCU and start off with a... It stopped there. Gray said, Wonder Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Doctor Doom are coming to the MCU. T'Challa is motherfucking needed. Or no, he said Main. Not Wonder Man. I'm sorry. Y'all call him Wonder Man, so I was just thinking. Jason said, Storm is an iconic character. Raymond said... Okay, we're done playing with Raymond. Paul said Disney owns ABC. I wonder if they say how the Connors worked after firing Roseanne and killing her character off could work with BP franchise. Chi-Town said Marvel should have waited some more time to make that decision. Oh, most definitely. Again, for people that, again, like to come in base level, surface level, and just see the hashtag and get instantly triggered for whatever fucking weird-ass reason, no one was ever saying T'Challa better be in Wakanda forever. We just simply said, for the love of God, there's got to be other creative decisions other than killing him to where we don't see him in any future projects. That's it. That was it. Raymond said, I would have thought Doom would have been next before the whole Doomsday thing happened. Then I thought it would be, am I not HB? Am I not pronouncing this right? But who cares about American Panther or Panther USA? SJ said, we have to put up with this BS until 2027 or 2028 before recast. That's some BS. If they recast. Andre, with the super chat, appreciate you for that, said, was watching Theo and he made a great point. Do we still want T'Challa to come back if the writing is going to be trash? I mean, that too. Again, that's what I said about the whole Star Wars stuff. No thanks. No, it's, the idea might be brilliant in theory, but no thanks. Don't touch it. No. So I'm good on it. I agree on that. I'm good on it. Jason said it's the only option of the multiverse, which is worse in my opinion. Black Claw said you'd think Doom would be a natural next step after Namor, but that all went out the window when they decided to have Victor replace Kang as the new big bad. Raymond said T'Challa fighting Hate Monger and the KKK would have been amazing. Yeah, that could have been cool to see. Definitely would have been cool to see. Agent Black said, you cooking tonight, fanatics. Hey, brother, I appreciate it. Gray said his main 616 comic line is canceled at the moment. Well, again, more evidence that... Xavier said, people always say yeah, but to shut you up in the moment. JD75 said, good evening, PF fam. Just listening tonight. Appreciate you being here, JD, brother. Let's see. Letitia Wright, thank you. I don't know why I could not remember that. Raymond said, I wouldn't mind Antonio Fuqua or the guy who did Aquaman to direct BP. See. Bird said, absolutely not. LOL. Ultimate BP is interesting because of T'Challa and curious about the Storm relationship with Killmonger, though. A potential love triangle is wild to me. Is that going on right now? Interesting. Uncle Ben said, all the Black Panther related merch is of T'Challa. The only thing I have outside of that is the Killmonger hot toy. I have a lot of different T'Challa like figures too, and it's like, even in the Wakanda Forever 2 Marvel Legends wave they put out all the characters that were in this new one, but they still put a T'Challa figure in that mix of that wave. I don't know, because I haven't seen them in a long time. They might have took them bitches out back to the pasture. I'm not really sure. But the Wakanda Forever merch, the figures, Marvel Legend figures, the blankets they were doing, the cups they were selling, the makeup line, the little kitty makeup line they started and all that kind of, none of that shit sold. Again, I don't know if they took it out back and just, ended it, but the Wakanda Forever figures were going on the clearance rack for like $2. And this is a $26 figure. All the T'Challa figures they mixed with that wave were gone. You still had your Riri as Ironheart there. You still had, the Namor figures were gone too. People wanted those. You still had your Nakia was there, Okoye was there, and people also bought the Asuri as the Black Panther. That figure sold. But the rest of that shit didn't sell like that. That shit didn't sell like that. And it's because who the fuck cares? And the only reason people bought the Suri one is because, one, no one's hating on Suri like that. Two, if you are a Marvel Legends collector, and because I have that Suri one, if you are a Marvel Legends collector, just like I have the comic accurate Suri one, and I have So if you're a collector like that, you want those figures, and that suit and the comic form of her is badass, standing next to all my other Black Panther shit. So, the other shit's not selling like that. Stamina said, no more Black Death, please. Definitely no. Hold on, sorry. 1 second. Can y'all hear me? Or is it okay? Okay. Okay. Anyway. All right. Cool. Anyway, that's all. So anyway, all of that is why we are the reason, saying the things we say about Black Panther, and I'm going to continue to say it regardless of who likes it or dislikes it. But we'll see what Marvel decides to do. Again, I don't think they go the decision of bringing in a recast of T'Challa. Oh, did that happen in this episode? I haven't watched yet. So if you've watched Agatha tonight, did that happen? Because that's one of the reasons I said I was watching. I guess Screen Time put out Wiccan, son of Scarlet Witch, has officially been introduced to the MCU. I tried to tell all of y'all that was trying to tell me this is Nicholas Scratch, and I think he's connected to, it's a Wanda story. It's not an Agatha, it's not about, it might be in some fraction, 80-20, Agatha being the 20, it might be about Agatha, but the 80 is about Wanda. So I'm ready to go watch this, because if he's wearing that, the demiurge, bro. Wiccan, I love that. I'm like I said, I'm a big fan of the Young Avengers, Children's Crusade shit. So I've been ready for this. Big fan of WandaVision. Been ready for this. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go check that shit out. Wiccan has officially been introduced. Did they call him Wiccan? Have y'all seen this episode? Do they call him Wiccan in this? Yeah, that's what I said, Dan. I thought it was known too. I thought it was known, but there were some people that were like, "Oh no, he's not Wiccan." I'm like, "Wait, what? Who the fuck is he then?" Oh, well, Raymond, I thought that was known news. I thought that was known news. I thought everybody knew that Wiccan or Billy was playing Wiccan. I don't know. How did y'all not know that? Neri, so you watched the episode. Do they call him Wiccan? Do they say the name Wiccan in the episode? Yeah, Ricardo, I'm about to hit my pen majorly hard and enjoy this. Oh, they haven't said he's Wiccan? Okay, they haven't. Okay. Does Agatha know yet who he is? Or did they do the whole thing? Is that scene happening where I gotta just go watch it. I'm just gonna go watch it. That's interesting. Woof! I'm telling you, bro. Oh, he does it. Okay. I gotta go watch this episode. He's got the... Bro. Okay, so y'all do know, I explained that too, like the whole demiurge thing, how the demiurge is one of those cosmic entities that Billy Wiccan can tap into, and you can just, honestly, one of the most powerful characters in Marvel Comics. I don't know if they're going to do that whole thing just like they do with the Scarlet Witch and all that, you know, it's an entity that she can tap in. I don't know, but I like it. I said when Joe was cast, I wanted him to stop doing all the damn talking he was doing during the promotion of it. But I said when Joe was cast, when the rumors of Joe being cast, I said I like him as Wiccan. And so far, watching Agatha, I've liked him as Wiccan. I like it. Do I want to see him in the suit and doing the powers? I need to see him in some action shit too. I know Marvel told him don't put on no muscle. They want him to be twinky. I would prefer he did put on some muscle a little bit, and I'm not saying he needs to be hulkling ripped, but let's do some, like, let's make him look like Wiccan in the comics. But no, it's pretty fun. Pretty fun. I'm ready to see that. Yeah, that's pretty fun. Like mother like son, huh? I'm telling you, bro, as a big fan of WandaVision, like, how did y'all not know? Like, even this, all the references to the outfits, like resembling Billy from the one, like, what? How did we not know this? Yeah, bro, I gotta go watch. And I really only simply care about this. Whatever the fuck they're doing right here, flying on these brooms, I don't think I care. I just want to see Wiccan. I don't care. I just want to see Wiccan become, or Billy become Wiccan. That's it. I'm gonna have to go watch that. Yeah, he talked too much. For sure. Yeah, I gotta go check it out. Is Wiccan as strong as Wanda? Yes. In Marvel Comics, when he taps into the demiurge, he is as strong as Wanda. For sure. He's one of the strongest characters in Marvel when he taps into the demiurge. Will they do that? In the MCU? I don't know. See, there's the demiurge behind him. The demiurge is the cosmic entity there. If I can go back to it. There we go. Demiurge is the cosmic entity there that taps into Billy, and when Billy taps into it, he becomes extremely powerful. Let me see if there's a little thing here that talks about it. Okay, it says secretly the wizard possessed Wiccan's subconscious, and the new Avengers learn that in the future, Morden would take over Wiccan completely and use him to destroy reality. The Avengers of the future escaped to the present day and opposed Sunspot's team, including Billy, who was now calling himself the Demiurge and already under Morden's control. It was only due to the timely influence of Hulkling that Billy was able to drive away Morden's consciousness, sending the future Avengers back to their own timeline and ending the threat. The new Avengers team splintered and then disbanded, blah 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 blah. The stuff though with the demiurge, it's not always, I don't because they're kind of making it seem like it's like a in this here, even though this is the Marvel actual site, they're making it seem like it's kind of like the Void, and it's not like the Void thing where like when the demiurge takes over, Wiccan is just like this evil individual. It's not like that. It just depends, but it's not like that. See, there he is here. Well, I thought that was a real picture of it. Okay. Here he is there. There he is there. So yeah, like, it just depends. So he is very strong, though. He is very powerful. Let's see. Dan the Man said, yeah, I don't give a given goddamn about none of this. Where's X-Body 7 at? I care. I've been a big Wiccan fan and all that for a long time, so I care about that. The other shit, whatever else they're doing in the show, I don't care, but I am interested to see what they're doing. Hope they don't nerf him, Cleve said. Didn't she have two boys? Yes, Speed. Speed is her other, Tommy. So Tommy is going to show up in the Vision series. The Vision series is where we are going to be going on a self-discovery journey with Vision, but we're also going to be looking for Tommy at the same time. This is all going to culminate with the two of them meeting. Hey, you're my brother. Oh. Meeting the other Young Avengers, probably. I'm sure, you know, as we know, Ms. Marvel has already talked to Kate, which subsequently they've probably already talked to Ant-Man's daughter, Cassie, too, because she said to Kate, did you know Ant-Man has a daughter? Leaving that to speculate that they are going to, of course, then go build the Young Avengers and things like that. So who the exact roster is going to be, don't know. So all of that, but anyway, yeah, that's so I'm going to go watch that episode. I'm live again tomorrow, but tomorrow it is myself with the other two brilliants, and that is Chillmonger and Marcus over the back of the bus, and I'm sure we'll talk about, I actually don't know what we're going to talk about. We might talk about some of the things we tapped in tonight. I'm sure we'll talk about Aaron Pierre, and I'm sure we might even talk about, for sure, the Aaron Pierre thing. I'm not sure what else, though. But join us tomorrow. That stream takes place tomorrow, 8:30 Central Standard Time. And it's going to be a good time. So come join us tomorrow if you would like to. Let me see what else. There was something else. No, I think that's it. That's it for right now. Yeah. So if you'd like to join us tomorrow we are doing the Pantheon stream, and we will be live hanging out. The last comment I'll read here from D Stizzle said, Feige doesn't like that twin superhero dynamic. Pietro was murked with the quickness. Speed is MIA. If he did Alpha Flight, he'd ignore Aurora and North Star. Possibly so. And we might talk about, actually, I don't even think either of them are watching Agatha, so probably not. Probably won't even talk about Agatha. But again, appreciate you guys being here. There's some stuff that I'm going to cut from this stream to make it its own video. Appreciate all of you guys. If you haven't subscribed, if you're new here and you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscription button. Really helps us out. Hit that like button. It really helps us out too. Thank you so much to Michael, and thank you so much to Andre for the super chats, but thank you to all of you too for just hanging out and chatting with me. Again, as I say all the time, I'm never looking for anything like that, just to hang out with you guys and chat with you guys, but I do appreciate the kindness when it is given to me so very much, and I appreciate all of you guys just wanting to be here and hang out. I think we had a little over 70 people in here tonight, so we're slowly getting back up to where we used to be with some of those live streams. So again, appreciate all of you guys hanging out and coming with me tonight. As I always say, I hope that you guys are having a great evening. Be safe wherever you are. Love and hug on your loved ones. If you're in the Florida area, Brian, shout outs and prayers to you, because I know that you are out there in Florida. Stay safe. I hope you and your family stay safe as well. Yes, Ricardo, I'm not going to say it out loud, but yes, because I don't want to spoil anything, but yes, Ricardo, yes. So appreciate all you guys. Again, like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see all of you guys in the very next video. Peace out.